Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first test episode of the C Plus podcast. That's not the actual name, but we'll figure something out eventually. I am one of your hosts, Shogun Shin, aka Maxwell Shin, and join me also is my other host.
Hi, I'm Hex. That's it.
Yeah, but so we're
I'm not
testing
gonna go any
something.
further.
Yeah, we're testing something out. We're testing some podcasts out. So this is gonna be our first test episode. And I don't know. We don't really have a theme for or like a general idea for this podcast just yet. But that's why we have test episodes. So this is gonna be our inaugural episode. Yeah, we're just gonna talk and see where the conversation takes us.
Yep. Yeah. So I think the best place to start is that I had you read one of my favorite comics. That was kind of the entire point of this. Is I wanted to sit down and talk about the comic Batman Year One, written by Frank Miller.
Yes.
Who I don't know if I have mentioned to you, I don't like Frank Miller.
Oh, okay. It's an
I don't
interesting
like his
start.
writing. But his book, or at least the collection, is my favorite story, especially for Batman. It is by and far my favorite Batman story, and I like it because it's a really cool origin story. You know, it's pretty generic. Well, I mean, because it is like the origin that kind of began what everybody knows about Batman. I don't think it really reinvented anything. It kind of made certain characters, it gave them more of a backstory than it did Batman. So reading that, what did you learn that was new about any characters, and what did you like about how it was written?
So the thing about Batman Year One, I will admit it was actually really funny because of when I started reading Year One, I was reading it off Tachiyomi, and when I searched for it on the app, I picked up. I think it was just like the first chapter of Year One, and I didn't even notice it. So like I read like through all of it, and I was like, "That's it? Like what? Like what the fuck? Like what is this?
Oh.
This is bullshit." Because it's like it just like left on like such a loose end, and I was just like, "This is nonsense. I fucking hate all of this."
So I have it in my hands right now. And it looks like if at the end of chapter 1, the bat came in the window and that was it.
Yeah, that was like literally it, and I was like, I don't understand any of this. But then I picked up the rest of it, and I really liked it for the most part. I thought it was really, I liked the fact that it didn't just serve as an origin story for Batman, but it also served as an origin story for Jim Gordon as well. Which I thought... And Catwoman, yeah, as well. So I thought that was really cool of, like, those three main players. You have kind of, like, how they came to be. I think this is just, like, a personal gripe of mine. But it's, like, it was a little hard for me to get into just because I'm not a huge fan of that, like, old Golden Age style, like, art style for comic books.
So the funny thing is, this is the Bronze Age.
Okay, well
that's a nitpicky thing.
Yeah, well, but basically that sort of art style though is like I'm not a huge fan of it. So like it was a little hard for me to kind of get into it at first. But I think that's something that I will say that was really impressive of just the writing itself, was that it was just so like captivating and like
it's
so
such an engaging story.
Yeah, it was like super engaging that I was like I was able to just kind of ignore all the stuff that like I kind of didn't like about it, and I was just kind of really gravitated to just how everything played out, and it was really interesting to again see how Jim Gordon kind of got his start in Gotham, just because of like up until this point I've never read the Batman comics. Like I knew Jim Gordon was a huge player in it, but like I didn't really know a whole lot about him. So seeing kind of that his rise and how he started not as commissioner but as just I think he was is he lieutenant, I think.
At that point, I believe he is.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so he came in from Chicago.
Yeah.
And yeah, then he's transferred to Gotham because I can't even remember why. Because it's like Chicago's probably better than Gotham.
Yeah. I think even like in the first couple pages, it's like he like completely just like he's bashing Gotham of like I shouldn't have come here. Like this place is awful. Like it's a terrible place. And I'm just like, why? Why did you come here? But yeah, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really interesting to see Batman really sloppy.
Yeah.
Like all
that was
the
really
amount
cool.
of mistakes that Batman makes in this entire like series was just kind of like it was in like I expected it, but at the same time it was just like, oh shit, he's really bad at this.
There's one scene where he's like he doesn't have the suit yet, and he's like running away on rooftops, and then he like he lands on not a catwalk. I don't know what they're called because I don't
fire
really
escape,
live in the city. Fire escape.
Yeah,
and he's just like fucking amateur.
Yeah.
Like he's so down on himself. Like it's really humanizing because you really usually don't get to see that.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the experienced Batman, he's like, I have a plan for every situation. Literally nothing surprises me.
And I definitely like the fact that there's a scene too where after he gets the suit, he's on the fire escape again, and he's like he's taking on I think like 3 to 4 like robbers. Mm-hmm. And you can see the thought process of classic Batman, you know, how he normally gets it, but this is him like the first time he's ever doing it. And so you can I love like it felt like there was a scene in I think it was in a Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, where it's like he's like the slow motion of like it goes through each move, like how he does it and how the enemy's gonna react. Like him, like just reading through that sequence was like that's exactly how it played out in my mind, and I thought it was like so cool. And then like how it completely, utterly just falls apart. Yeah, and I'm just I'm gonna
punch this guy, and this guy's gonna react this way. And it's like, oh shit!
And just like completely misreads it, and it's just like it was so interesting to just see like how sloppy he is. And also there's one part I think near the end, where he's in the abandoned quote unquote building.
Yeah. With the cat.
With the cat, yeah, and he's trying to like, cause like the chopper's coming in to like, either the chopper's coming in to bomb the place, or they're about to raid and just like just completely like lay into it. But so I remember like, there's a scene where he's like trying to figure out a way to hide, and he's comes across this cellar hatch. But it's labeled electrical wiring, or like danger electric wiring, and I love the thought of him just going, well, let's just hope that this is wrong, and he just picks the lock and hides, and I'm like, he could die, like he just got so unbearably lucky, like 100%, like that singular moment right there could have just been the end of Batman.
Trapdoor's metal might be enough to protect me, provided that warning is a lie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Like it's just so perfect. I'm just like, oh god.
Also, why would that be his first instinct? Oh, this danger sign, that can't mean anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why would that be a lie? I would never have thought that. So that was written in 1987.
Oh, Jesus.
And it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it definitely holds up
the
very
writing
well.
Style transcends kind of time.
Yeah, it holds up very, very well, I will say that.
Yeah, there's nothing like... I still like the art style. I'm a huge fan of David Mazzucchelli. He's a really good artist. Mm-hmm. But even, like, the only thing that puts it in that time period is, like, architecture and clothing.
Yeah.
Anything else is like you would totally believe that in a modern day comic book.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I think is the sign of a good story. I think like it's not inherent. Like if you can't tell what time period it's written in, then it's always going to be a good comic. That's not necessarily true. But I think that really helps this story. So you were talking to me about you read some of the New 52 Batman, right?
Yes. I read Death of the Family.
Uh-huh.
I read whatever's after that one. I can't quite remember.
That should be 0 Year.
Oh, I didn't read 0 Year.
Okay.
I didn't read 0
Good,
Year.
because it wipes away Year One, and it makes me really sad.
Okay.
Like, it's not a bad story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as good as Year One, and Year One is like my definitive origin story. Like, you can add things in that don't change the way you view this story, but I think 0 Year changes so much that it's like, no, stop. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad that you liked that. I'm also sorry that you read All-Star Batman.
I honestly, All-Star Batman wasn't that bad. Like, it was, for the most part, I liked kind of just the first two, or the first arc and the last arc, I think were the two arcs that I'm like, these were really, really good.
Out of 11 issues.
Because but it's 5 arcs total. So it's 11 issues, but it's 5 arcs, and so it's like
it's not a good track record.
I think like it's because it's weird how they spread them out, because it's like the first 2 issues is arc 1, and then I think arc 2, 3, and 4 are spread between basically issues like 3 and I think 9.
Yeah.
So like it's just like, and it like they all tie together, because it's like it's Two-Face. Then
they're independent stories, essentially.
They're independent, but they tie in really, really loosely. And it was that part where I'm like, this is just really kind of sloppy.
So, well, one, that kind of shows my part of my gripe with Frank Miller is he's kind of sloppy. And that was the release schedule for what they were trying to do with these series called All-Star. So first it started with All-Star Superman, which was really good. And I'm sure on the release schedule, it did feel like that, because I believe that they were released 1 issue at a time over the course of a year, or one issue per month over the course of a year. So you would get 1 issue 1 month.
Yeah.
I mean, which is normal.
Yeah.
But it tells a singular part of a story, all culminating into one kind of overarching story.
Yeah.
Whereas instead, it's not like a continuous arc.
Right. Yeah.
Like you were saying, they break it up.
Yeah. I will say that. So like Two-Face's story. Like, have you read All-Star at all?
I read the first issue and I could not get any further. No, I read the first 2.
Okay. Yeah. So I like Two-Face's a lot. I think Two-Face's was really, really good in kind of how just kind of like the overall message of the story itself, because it's like you have Two-Face being just so tired of everything, but Batman's just like, Batman's not there necessarily to be the good guy. He's there to just kind of like try and make the best choices possible for the greater good.
And he definitely doesn't.
And he definitely doesn't. And it's just like, well, okay, like this is just how we're living now. I will say that I think out of all of them, I think my least favorite was Mr. Freeze's, because it's just how it was told was super weird. Because it was like it shifts point of views from Mr. Freeze to Batman, like inner thought, like inner monologue, and it shifts everyone but it doesn't do a good job at clarifying necessarily who's talking or what they're talking about.
That is definitely an issue with older comics.
Yeah, so it was like that was really weird. I did like Poison Ivy's was actually really good of how they told it because of it definitely felt like I was watching. Felt like I was reading a TV like an episode of a TV show, which because it's like the way the storytelling from it was very very artistic because it counted down from 13. In which it like in each every time it counts down, there's a different scene that plays out, and it's revealed that like it gets later revealed that apparently from Mr. Freeze's attack, because Mr. Freeze releases like this ancient like rot-eating virus from a glacier or something like that, and I guess before Batman's able to eradicate all of it, a bit of it escapes, and so it makes its way to basically this backyard forest of this little girl's home, and she is basically patient zero for it. And so Batman goes to track down Poison Ivy to try and find a cure, for the little girl, and it's later revealed that the little girl has already died. She died because Batman's like, she has 13 hours to live, and Poison Ivy's like, bullshit, she died. That means you're telling me that she died 13 hours ago then. And so it ticks down. The way the scene plays out is that it ticks down from 13, where they're incinerating her body, and it goes all the way down to 1, where she's going into her backyard because the little girl likes plants and like is cultivating her own garden.
Wow.
Yeah, so like the storytelling for Poison Ivy was really really good. That I really really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah.
And then Alfred's. I really liked Alfred's story, which is the last arc. Just because I always liked Alfred as a character. And
that sucks.
Why does it suck?
I'll let you know in a minute. We'll get there.
But like I always liked Alfred as a character, and so seeing sort of like a brief glimpse from Alfred's past was really interesting, especially seeing the kind of like, I guess like the younger, like kind of hearing his thoughts about even before he served the Wayne family, and like how he felt about the Waynes, especially because his dad was their butler and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I like reading it, I was just like, I feel like Alfred's kind of justified in this, like low key. Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure Alfred's dad was just a shitty father, kind of.
Oh yeah. Like, like I think again, I haven't read the story, but across the board, Alfred's dad has always been a dick.
Yeah.
To Alfred, and like, I'm not sure if this is necessarily depending story to story, but Alfred didn't want to work for the Waynes, and didn't necessarily have the best, the warmest feelings towards them.
Yeah.
Especially Thomas.
Yeah.
But he loved Bruce, and that was one of the biggest reasons that he stayed. I mean, that, and they ended up being actually good people.
Yeah. It was interesting reading the story, because it's like, the entire time Alfred like kind of talks about how his dad was never kind of around because he was always serving the Waynes. And then I thought it was a little annoying and like a little frustrating to be like, eventually Alfred's mentor plots to kill Alfred's dad, because I guess that like his mentor believes that because Alfred cares about, just is a human being and like cares about people close to him, his mentor thinks that's a sign of weakness, and so his mentor wants to try and strengthen him by killing the people that he cares about, starting with his dad, which is a weird thought, to like weird first target, like go for the person that apparently Alfred hates the most, but that turns Alfred to believe that like even like as much as he hates his own father, he can't outright truly hate him because it is still his dad.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, it's like after all that, when he starts serving the Wayne family, there's a scene where he is in like, I think it's the study or something like that, and he's winding the clock. He's winding the same clock that his dad would wind for the Wayne family, and he smashes the clock instead because he just has all those feelings of like frustration. It just kind of all culminates. So he smashes the face of the clock, but then he finds a bundle of letters that his dad had wrote to Alfred and his wife. And like it's supposed, I get like it's supposed to be like this really touching moment, but I'm just like, he never sent those letters. Like, what does that do? Like, what does that fucking solve?
But why didn't you send
them?
But
why though? Yeah, it's just like, this solves nothing. But I thought it definitely was nice to kind of see, get that like just like a brief glimpse of Alfred and like who he is, overall. And like reading Year One and reading All-Star, definitely got me into reading, current Batman as well. So like I read New 52 a little bit just to kind of catch up, just because of I wanted to read New 52, Death of the Family, and then I wanted to read when Jim Gordon was Batman. What's it called?
That wasn't terrible. Bloom?
No, it's right before that. It's when Batman dies. That arc. That
Endgame.
Endgame, that's it.
Endgame is okay.
I read Death of the Family and Endgame.
You read two of the better arcs, but you missed the best one, which is the start. You missed the Court of Owls and the Night of Owls.
Oh yeah.
They're so good, and they're even in Endgame.
Yeah. But yeah, so I read those, and then I read Bloom, which I thought was really I liked Jim Gordon as Batman, just because of it was really reminiscent of Year One Batman.
Yeah,
yeah. I really
some dude who didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah, so like reading that after reading Year One, I thought like I loved it a lot more, just because I was like, oh, this is literally like this is exactly like Year One, but it's Jim Gordon instead, and it's a lot funnier.
Yeah, you probably had a much better experience with it than I did, because I was reading it at the time, and so I read Endgame, and I was like, oh my god, what are they going to do next? And then it was Jim Gordon's Batman, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
You're kidding, right?
I thought it was really interesting too, because there's one scene where Jim he falls into a trap door, and the trap is basically just like a giant oven, and so he's got like this, I don't even know, it's like a blaster pistol or something like that. I guess it it shoots batarangs.
It's like a taser.
It's like it's a taser, but it shoots batarangs too. And so like he can't use the gun because the gun's overheated, so he has to literally just like throw the batarangs classic, and so he's like looks behind one of the heating panels, and he's like, if he throws a batarang there and short circuits it, then he's got a chance to live. And it goes through this whole thought process of like, all right, I've got to line, like he's lining the shot up, he's got to think about this, and he's like psyching himself up, and he's like, don't think about how if you fuck this up, you're gonna die. Don't think about all the 30 times that you missed practicing. Just think about how you're just think about this is all...
The one time you made it.
Yeah, it all leads up to this one time that you make it. And he throws it. And I'm like, it's so great. Like, I thought, like, I love... Because I think that perfectly illustrates just who Jim Gordon is, like, as a character. And, like, his mindset of how he does stuff, which I thought was so great.
Jim Gordon is a great character. I don't think he gets enough love.
There was also one thing about this arc that kind of threw me off. It was the fact that Jim Gordon's doing all of this Batman stuff, right? And, like, being Batman, you have to be pretty fucking athletic.
Yeah.
Jim Gordon's, like, 50-something.
He's 50-something, and he smokes.
Yeah, and he smokes. Like he's
constantly.
He's, like, the stuff that he does as Batman, I'm like, all right, come on.
He's 50-something, he smokes, and for all intents and purposes, he doesn't really have a whole lot necessarily, like, physicality to do.
Yeah.
Because he's not necessarily a street-level cop.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the commissioner, meaning he mostly does a lot of paperwork. Granted, it's Gotham, and it's a whole other, like, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But really... You see him at the top of the building, at the top of the GCPD with the light, and you see him when Batman is like on the ground and there's like a shootout.
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah, so like seeing him do all of this stuff, I was like, this is fucking weird. But it also was really funny too because they tied in. I did appreciate the little nod of like, yes, Jim Gordon is old. Yes, he smokes. This is one of the ways that we're gonna get around one of those things, and it's when
Rookie?
No, it's he's practicing throwing his batarangs, and someone's asking him like how he's getting on with training and bulking up, and it's like, how's the not smoking thing part going? And he goes, oh, I got that covered, and it shows his arm is just like littered with nicotine patches.
Yeah. Covered in nicotine
it's just like
patches.
covered, and I'm just like so like, all right, cool, I'm glad you closed that hole.
Oh god, that's so quick tangent. That reminds me of something. I don't know if I ever have told you about I took forensic science when I was in high school, right?
Okay.
It was probably my favorite class ever.
Cool.
Because what school allows you to take forensic science as a class is fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
So we were doing drugs and alcohol was our course for the month or whatever. There we had a presenter come in, and she was kind of like talking to us about like what it's like to encounter drugs and alcohol in a forensic environment. Duh. And she brought up this person who had died in a hot tub, whose blood alcohol was 6.66%.
That's pretty high.
That's very high. That's more than toxic.
Significantly, yeah. It's like that's pretty fucking high. Interesting.
That means that 6.66% of her blood was alcohol. You could get drunk off of her blood.
Yeah.
She did not die of alcohol poisoning.
Interesting.
She died of a nicotine overdose. Because she was in the hot tub and she had 8 nicotine patches. I think I was either all together or on each arm.
Oh, wow.
And the hot tub made the nicotine absorb in her blood faster, and it killed her.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
she was so
interesting.
Her body was so used to consuming that level of that much alcohol that she was fine. She was probably constantly inebriated to a certain degree, but her liver just kind of adapted.
Yeah.
But nope, can't take that nicotine.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, one of my favorite parts of the Bloom saga, or arc or whatever, was just the slight, like, you're gonna keep the mustache, right?
Yeah.
I really wanted him to keep the mustache, because in all honesty, Jim Gordon without the mustache didn't, like, it definitely made him look younger.
Yeah. It's weird,
but I didn't like it.
It's weird. It's so weird. It's way too weird.
He didn't even. They also shaved the sides of his head down, so you couldn't see the gray anymore.
Yeah. It was weird funny. It was like a constant thing that like just kept nagging me when I was reading it. Of like, he is 50, like he's mid-50s, but like the way he looks, he looks like most mid-30s.
Yeah,
and I'm just like,
they somehow de-aged him.
Yeah,
by
it's like, this
taking,
is too fucking weird.
Things off.
This is too fucking weird, man.
Well, and so I think the biggest disservice to that book isn't like, because it could have been really cool. It didn't have the best reception, and that is a little unfortunate. Like, people just want to see Batman. They want to see Bruce Wayne as Batman.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to see Bruce Wayne as the Batman, they want to see Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
That's pretty much their people's only go-to.
Yeah.
Because we've had other ones and they didn't go well. And I thought, like, in hindsight, I think that Jim was a really cool, really interesting choice, because it's like, well, this is the last person that anybody would have thought of. And they never mention it anywhere. Like, a couple books, Batman, Superman had a little thing. But they didn't really go into it very much, because the Jim Gordon Batman didn't last very long in his own comic. So crossovers with him lasted maybe 2 issues. with, I don't know if Nightwing ever talked about. No, Nightwing didn't ever talk about him. Red Hood did, I think, 2 issues. Batman Superman did 2 issues, and I think that's it. Over all of DC Comics, that was like it. I think Justice League might have had him, but if you're really trying to introduce a new character, a new status quo, you kind of gotta envelop him in some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing that didn't get to continue moving forward, aside from the initial, like, why is this happening? It could have been cooler. It could have gone on longer. You know, it's actually kind of sad. I would liked to have seen Jim Gordon get a little bit more. Because, like I was saying earlier, he's a character that we don't get to see a lot of.
Yeah.
Except in 2 specific instances, up on the GCPD building and when there's a shootout.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So, I was supposed to read Rumble.
Yes, you were.
I got 3 issues in.
Oh.
But, okay, and, so I know that you finished and read a whole thing. And
Yes.
I will say, I absolutely love it, and I'm only 3 issues in.
Okay.
I'm really interested. The art style, initially when I first looked at it, I was like, this isn't usually my go-to, but because I really am a visual person, I want to be a comic book illustrator. But I kept reading it. I had no idea what was going on because it just throws you in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And doesn't explain anything. But the way that the storytelling is told is it very quickly does tell you backstory when you need to know it, which is really cool. I actually like that.
Yeah, I will say that one of like the pros and cons of Rumble is that a lot of the times you just kind of hit the ground running, and it just fills in the blanks just as you go.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, but at the same time, it is there are several moments where I remember reading it, and I was completely lost. Like there were several moments too where I almost stopped reading it just because I was like, I'm way too confused as to what in the world is going on. And either I would figure it out by the end, or I would have to reread at least a couple pages because I'm like, oh, okay, that connects to here and this connects to here. Got it, okay.
I definitely had to go back and like go to the first issue because of something that happened in the 3rd issue, and I was like,
yeah.
wait, what is it? What happened?
Yeah, it's like it draws so many lines and connections like past issues that it's like some like I actually when I started reading it again after because there are 2 series of it. There's one that was released in 2014, and I think there's another one that was the newest one that was released in 2017 to 2018, something like that.
Yeah.
And so there's a pretty significant gap between those 2 series, even though they continue right after the other. But like reading picking it back up again, I had to read like the last 2 issues from the first series because I'm like I don't remember anything that happened. Like I remember nothing. And especially because it's like. I don't want to spoil anything, but like there's a pretty big cliffhanger that happens at the end of the first series. They don't like address that like until like midway through the first issue of the next series.
Ooh.
And I was just like, because I'm just like, wait, so we're just not gonna talk about this?
We're just
like
glossing over that?
We're just gonna gloss over this, and then they kind of bring back. I'm like, okay, cool, got it, got it again, understood.
Well, I mean. That's kind of the interesting part about that storytelling is it really is like we're gonna give you the information when you need it.
Yeah.
Not when you want it, which is cool. It's an interesting storytelling device in that it's like it really does keep you going, and you pray to God that they're gonna follow through because too often in storytelling they dangle this thing in front of you and then either they forget about it or they just hope that you're gonna forget about it.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that isn't the case.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
I'm a little disappointed that you're only 3 issues in, just
I know.
because of
you probably wanted to talk about more stuff.
No, it's not necessarily just that. It's one of my favorite like quotes from any comic book that I've ever read is in the 6th issue actually.
Damn it, my
and so like
pad is dead.
I kind of wanted to talk. I wanted to talk about that because there's I guess spoiler alert for you. There's a moment between. Have you met? Fuck, I can't remember what his name is. I think his name is Dell. I think he's the best friend.
With the tattoo that says, "Does this tattoo make me look tough?"
Yeah, he's the bald one.
Yeah, bald guy.
So there's this great moment where
I can't even tell you the main character's name.
I honestly couldn't tell you either. I can't remember anymore.
They just the black guy just calls him like Buddy.
Yeah,
but I know it's not his name.
Yeah,
I know there's Rathrak and there's Dell, and there's the Buddy guy, and then Mr. Cognan.
Yeah,
is that what they call him?
I think so.
Okay, that's all I know.
Yeah, but so there's this great moment between Rathrak and Dell where I can't quite remember what exactly is going on, but I know that like Dell's like super gung ho about fighting monsters and like let's fucking do this. Like I'm ready to fucking bash some heads in. I'm ready to go. And Rathrak has this great kind of like humbling moment of like you shouldn't be this excited about killing something. Like this
says Rathrak.
Exactly. No, exactly.
From what I know.
Exactly. And it's like you shouldn't be this excited because it goes through this whole kind of like Jedi this Jedi mind trick of like why like would you want your best friend to be a killer? And he's like of course not. No, that'd be crazy. And he's like, well, would you be upset? Like, how would you feel if he was this excited about killing thousands upon thousands of people? And you're like, well, I'd feel pretty shitty if you ask me.
Yeah.
And it's and he goes through this whole thing, and it's like, but it's like, so it's funny that you say it's like, well, says Rathrak, because Dell even calls him out on this too, of like, well, what about you? It's like, that's kind of hypocritical for you to say something like that. And the quote that Rathrak says is, "A warrior does not kill because it is his wish to, but because he must, and because he has been made strong enough to do it. Killing is not as easy, and it shouldn't be. It becomes easy for you when you become a killer." And it's like, it's just kind of like that. It was just that quote itself was like, it just like, it's one of my favorite things that's written, just because it's like, yeah, like that's
a very samurai mindset.
Yeah, like it's very like honorable warrior, and I think it does really well in kind of painting and like emphasizing the mindset of how you should feel about this sort of act, and I think it does a really good job at showing who Rathrak is, especially in a more humanizing way. Because I mean, like first couple issues in, your main idea of Rathrak is like he's just this badass warrior scarecrow. And it's
I get kind of a Samurai Jack vibe from this, because it's like a blend of medieval European fantasy and honorable shogun samurai fiction.
Yeah.
Much like how Samurai Jack is.
Yeah.
Like, he is basically the same in that mindset. Is like, I don't want to do any of this. I have to do this.
Yeah.
This isn't something that I enjoy doing, but it's something that I was taught to do, that is the only way for me to move forward.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, and I've really fallen in love with the art style. I loved Dell's conversation with Rathrak when they're just walking down the street. I think he had just sprayed him in like fire retardant spray.
Oh yeah.
And I think one of the next things that comes out is like Dell's talking about the art of war. I can't remember. It was like using the environment to your advantage and all of this, and Dell only has like a cursory understanding. He's like, I don't even know what that means, and then Rathrak's just like, yeah, that was basically taught to me when I was 5 years old.
It's fine.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting comic series. I really like Image, and I like that their independent storytelling. It's like, it's so great. Like, yeah, there's a lot of hits and misses, but it's nice when you get to read something that isn't just superheroes.
Yeah. But out of curiosity, what was one of the first comic books that you ever read?
Ooh.
If you can remember, because I know what my first comic is actually.
I first started reading comics when I was like 5. So the first one that I understood, like I actually sat down and tried to read, was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay.
My grandpa bought me a collection when I was probably in 6th grade, and it was pretty good.
Okay.
It's I hate the writer now. I really do.
That's sad.
And yeah,
sad.
You probably know Brian Michael Bendis.
Oh, okay, yeah, the name is really familiar. Yeah.
He wrote so much stuff for Marvel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem. I was just talking to Xavier about that. Is he would write like 10 titles at a time, and which is impressive if they were all consistently good.
Yeah, right.
The problem is maybe 2 were good. And he was also like the progenitor for events all the time. Was kind of, you can mostly blame that on him.
Yeah.
So if you were ever reading Marvel at a point where you were like, maybe we should just hold off on the events for a while, it's pretty much his fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What about you?
My first comic that I read was, I believe it was by, I think the publisher was Image. It's either Image or Dark Horse. I can't quite remember.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's Image, but it was Chew, Chew.
That's Image.
Yeah. When it was about, it was recommended to me by my sophomore high school history teacher, Mr. Gibson.
Oh, damn. Your
he
teacher's automatically cool.
Yeah, he's, I don't want to toot my own horn, but my history teacher, Mr. Gibson, he's a fucking awesome dude. He's super great. He his whole classroom was always decked out with like comic books and like action figures and like pop culture stuff. He was a really, really cool guy. But yeah, he was the one that got me into reading comics, because he's the one that like he came up to me one day and he's like, I want you to read, this is like, your homework assignment is to literally read this comic book. And he handed me the first volume. And
nice.
I'm just like, okay, why? And he goes, you're gonna like it, trust me. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. But yeah, it's about this FBI detective. His name Anthony Chu. And he is a Cibopath, which means that if he like takes a bite of an apple, in his head he gets like an image of like the orchard that it was grown in, the pesticides that were used on it, what tree it grew on. Like he like in his head he gets like an image of like this whole lifespan timeline of whatever he's eaten. And so like the flip side to that, if he eats like a hamburger, he gets just like an entirely different image of like he can see like it's the cow getting slaughtered, the beef being made, the cow growing up. Like, it's a whole thing. Oddly enough, the only food that doesn't, like, affect him or his powers is beets. So, beets, yeah. Okay. So that's all, like, he ever eats instead. Like, that's basically all he eats is beets. But so he works for the FBI, and he works for a very specific branch that is the Department of Food and Agriculture. And all the cases that he has to deal with are all like just food related. So like there's one issue of this there's this guy, he can eat he eats people.
Okay.
And
that doesn't sound food related at all.
Yeah, no, but so he eats people, but his targets that he selects are all people who are like really have like really special and very specific talents that have involved food. So like there's this whole thing where this guy he basically like takes on the role of being like a vampire essentially.
Okay.
but he starts targeting specific people. Like he starts targeting there's so many just like random food weirdos. Like he starts targeting there's like a group of ninjas that only use flour tortillas, and so they're trained in like making all their weapons out of tortillas, so they have like fucking flour tortilla throwing stars that can decapitate people.
Oh my god.
And like there's this, I guess, like in like one of the issues, the vampire targets a chocolate sculptist.
Okay.
And the way they introduce the sculptist is that he's in this it's like this annual chocolate sculpting competition, and he gets second place, and he's fucking irate because he's just like, wait, so first place fucking wins because they made this weird, just artsy fucking angel sculpture. I made a death ray out of chocolate. And like the judges are just like, oh, that's cute. He's like, no, you don't understand. And he picks that and he goes, and he kills a guy. He goes, it's literally a death ray made of chocolates. You don't get it.
That's amazing.
It's like, but like the whole series is just weird, wacky, like food related mysteries and problems. And like I loved it because it wasn't like, it sounds really cartoonish, but the way that it was written was very like realistic. Mm-hmm. In the sense that like nothing, like there were times where it like kind of really hit the ceiling of like, well, this is kind of getting out of hand, but it never broke through that ceiling. It always like neared it, but it kept it in a good range of like, it's well grounded. How it is. And like one of the major
chocolate death ray seems like the threshold almost surpass.
And like one of the major like events that kind of happens throughout the series is I think this takes place, I want to say early to mid 2000s. So this was during the time of when the bird flu was a big thing.
Okay.
And so one of the spins that they take on it is that the bird flu was so catastrophic that there is a worldwide ban on poultry and like chicken and stuff like that. And so you have like these underground speakeasies that sell
it's like
chicken.
That episode of South Park.
Yeah. And so like
KFC got banned.
Yeah, so like there's this whole underlying thing of like no one's allowed to sell chicken or like anything poultry at all, period. But it's a great series, and I highly recommend it. But that was by far the first comic that I ever read that I was like, I'm absolutely hooked.
Well, I know they have a hardcover collection.
Yeah.
Image is really good about that. So, the first independent comic I read was from Image, and it was Saga. I don't know if you've read it.
Yeah, I have not read it.
It's very good. You should check it out.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. I know that.
It's just a fantasy epic, and it's very weird. It's adult. There are TV people that have sex with each other. If that's a thing that you.
That's really funny that you mentioned that, because that reminds me of another comic series that I want to read called Sex Criminals.
I've heard that show series. Why can't I picked up the first volume. I couldn't get past the first couple of chapters, and it's not bad. It's just weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the whole premise is weird because it's like the whole premise is this couple, like, they have sex and they can stop time. So what do they do when they can stop time? They rob banks.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's a weird way to use your not time, but sure, okay.
And I've heard that it's interesting, but it's just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
That being said, I do love the writer, Matt Fraction. He actually lives in my city.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He helped write one of my favorite books, Immortal Iron Fist, which you should definitely check out sometime. And Hawkeye. He wrote Hawkeye in the early 2010s, and it's really cool. In that one, Hawkeye goes deaf, and he utilizes American Sign Language in the he and the artist use American Sign Language in the panels, so you kind of pick it up because they don't tell you what anything means. He does spell out a lot of things, but it's really cool because it's not dialogue heavy, it being that he can't hear anything. So yeah, it's definitely something you should check out. It's more of an experience than it is like a story, really. So yeah, if you ever want to check that one out. I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, Matt Fraction. Yeah. I will have to sit down and read Sex Criminals at some point.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. So, Image Comics is really interesting in that I don't know if this is every one of their first volumes, but for a large majority of them, the first volume of a series is $10. It's like hey, we want everybody to be able to read comics, and $10 is like a pretty reasonable bar that they believe just about anybody can put $10. They can buy a volume of 4 to 7 issues and have a good time, and then hopefully they'll like it enough to want to go on to the next volume, which can range from 12 to 20 or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Which is really cool because I've bought volumes of DC Comics stuff that was 4 issues for $20.
Ooh.
And it's like, ugh.
Big oof.
Did you ever read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe?
No. I've read like kind of bits and pieces of it. So I have like a general idea of what happens.
So there's
I've never read
3
the entire thing.
stories. It's Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, Deadpool Killustrated, and then I can't remember the last one. But they're all, I believe, only 3 to 4 issues each, and they're not long issues. And they're like $18 a volume.
Ugh, Jesus.
It's insane. I never wanted to pick them up, but everybody's like, hey, you need to read this. I'm like, but they're expensive for not a lot of content. Like, it's not that they weren't worth it, because they were very well written. They were very funny. Deadpool Illustrated is literally all about Deadpool. So Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe is very self-explanatory. It's in an alternate universe where Deadpool snaps and he murders everyone.
Right, yeah.
There's one scene where he can't kill Luke Cage because he has indestructible skin. So he puts he steals a bunch of Pym particles, shrinks down bombs, and puts them in a bunch of the Avengers' coffee, and then it explodes their heads.
Oh God!
And that's his workaround for killing Luke Cage. He killed Spider-Man by he was just swinging around New York. He shot the web. He landed on the ground, and then Spider-Man and Deadpool are friends. They know each other.
Right. Yeah.
And how do you stop Spider-Man from being able to use his spider sense? Put the barrel of a gun in his face and just shoot. You can't react to that.
Easy.
You know where he's gonna land? Okay.
God.
He's gonna land right there. Bang.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Killustrated is right after that, and he is jumping between literary famous fiction.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So yeah, Moby Dick. I can't remember if it's Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn, but it's that world. Yeah. Essentially, and then a couple others I can't really remember.
Yeah.
They were great. I can't remember the very last one.
Isn't it? Doesn't he time travel to kill historic figures, or is it either? Because I remember either
the last
kills
one
historic figures or he starts going after like the actual Marvel writers.
I think that's the end of the first series. He starts to go after them.
Okay.
The last one is a bunch of Deadpools versus each other.
Oh yeah.
Because there's Panda Pool.
Yeah.
Lady Deadpool,
right.
Grandpa Deadpool, and then there's like this spliced version, or whatever, which was the original.
Mm-hmm.
Like he killed a bunch of Deadpools and like patched himself together with them. It's been a while since I read it, so that's probably not right.
Right.
But yeah, it's pretty good. You should definitely read them all in order because it does tell a whole story. Definitely read it on something that is cheaper than buying them individually.
Yeah.
But so to get back to Chew and Image Comics, so there you were talking about that one guy who was essentially, he was a cannibal and he ate people because they did weird stuff with food.
Yeah.
There is a series, and I believe that I've talked to you about it before. It's called Nailbiter. And it's really good. It's a horror comic.
I think so.
Okay, maybe I might have told Emily about it. It's another Image comic series. It's by, his name is Joshua Williamson, and I believe he also lives where I live. Because the story is based in Oregon. And like a bunch of the characters have PSU shirts, which is the school that's not that far away from me. And it's based in the fictional town of Buckaroo, Buckaroo, Oregon, where a large majority of the United States serial killers come from. And it's not like any famous ones, like they're all fictional serial killers. But the most famous one is this guy called the Nailbiter, and he would go after people and kill them and chew their nails.
Oh God! Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so gross.
And there's another one. Her name is the Blonde, and she would just go around killing guys.
Let me guess.
A hooker.
Oh, damn it.
Or something.
Damn it! I was gonna guess that she just kills blonde people.
No, she is just blonde, and she's very attractive, and she just kills people, or she kills guys. I don't remember what her reasoning is. But, so the whole premise of this story is that they're trying to figure out what makes this location spawn serial killers.
Oh,
and there's this one girl who, like, is really invested in the serial killers. And, there is I don't know if she's the sheriff. I believe she's the sheriff of this town. And she used to date the Nailbiter.
Oh.
So he went to prison, and he got out. He did his time, and he came back to live in Buckaroo, and she basically has to protect him, even though he's a former serial killer, because everybody's trying to run him out of town, and they used to date, and it's really cool. I think there's this.
So he's no longer a serial killer?
He hasn't killed anybody since he
got out of prison.
Left prison.
Since he got out of prison, he has not killed anybody.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Got it. Wait. So why? When you say they are running him they're trying to run him out of town. Just the people of Buckaroo?
The townspeople. Okay. Yeah.
So they know that he used to be a serial killer.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, everybody in this town, like, almost everybody is related to somebody who had a serial killer in their family.
Oh, it's weird.
But most of them are dead, or they were still in prison.
Such a weird thing to, like, have.
Actually, I don't think he got out of prison. I don't think he ever went to prison. Like, he got exonerated or something.
Oh.
Yeah, but everybody knows that he did it.
Okay, that feels a little bit more justified then.
That's what it was.
Because
he got away with it, and everybody's like, "We know you did it," and he's like, "You can't prove it, though."
Like, maybe I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because it's weird to just like I get like why they would run him out of town already, but like it's a little like their argument is just like, well, you just don't like the guy at that point, really.
But I mean, like, even then, it's still justified.
Yeah, it's still justified, but it's still like, it's too loose for it to be like a plot point. But yeah, the fact that he's exonerated, then like, okay, well, there's more fuel to that fire. I'm like, okay, that there's more concrete reasoning there for plot reasons.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So the whole driving force of the story is that there's another serial killer who starts coming around. And he doesn't have specific targets, he's just dressed a certain way. He like has this big old like almost goat mask and a giant sword, and he just starts hacking people to bits.
Oh.
It's pretty intense.
Oh, that's
and so essentially the sheriff has to, and an FBI agent, who I completely forgot to mention because like he's important, but he's not like the main focus of the story. So the FBI agent, the sheriff, and the nail biter all have to work together to try and figure out who the serial killer is.
That's interesting.
So you're working with a serial killer. It's kind of like what was that? It was very famous. Anthony Hopkins and Silence of the Lambs. Mm. It's essentially using a serial killer's information to figure out what another serial killer is going through in their mind.
That's actually so you saying like those three people working together reminds me of another comic that I read, which I think is Dark Horse. I think is the publisher, but it's called Cowboy Ninja Viking.
I have no idea what that is.
It's such an awesome series. It's about this guy. He was trained as like this super secret special agent assassin, where this group basically imbued their like assassins with the personalities and skills of like certain warriors. And so this guy in him has a cowboy, a ninja, and a Viking in his head. So he's essentially one of the side effects to this procedure is the subjects all have multiple personality disorder.
Okay, yeah, that was gonna be my like. Does he have a main
threefold
personality?
Yeah, so it's like it's him, a cowboy, a ninja, and a Viking.
They're all independent.
They're
like,
all
they
independent.
Talk to each other.
They all talk to each other. Yeah,
okay.
They're all independent. And then, but at the same time, this dude is imbued with just the martial prowess of like the sharpshooting cowboy, the stealth of a ninja, and just the pure ferocity of a Viking. And so the whole premise is this guy, he's like trying to cope with, because like the whole operation gets shut down. And so now he's just in this aftermath of like, well, shit, I have to now be a normal dude with 3 warriors in my head. And so, but like he gets recruited by, I think it's like, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've read it, but he gets recruited by like former love interest / like a partner agent. And so he has to, he gets assigned, I think it's like someone's trying to revive the program. And so he gets assigned in 1, trying to figure out who's reviving the program, and then 2, he has to kill all the former subjects, all the former test subjects. And I guess it's like
kind of a Weapon X kind of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of Weapon X style. And it's really funny because again, each personality is a standalone. It does a really good job at like telling you who's talking, because like there's a point where it's like there's like this whole like crossfire happening, and the guy saves the girl, and she goes, "Thanks. By the way, who am I talking to?" And the guy just goes, "Ma'am." And it's like, "Cowboy, got it." And they just go off, awesome. And they just like go off to go do stuff. And like, and I remember correctly, and it's like, I say the whole operation was like they imbue warriors and stuff like that. That's not entirely accurate, because like the main nemesis or like rival to the Cowboy Ninja Viking is I can't quite remember what the trait is or what the 3 traits are, but I think it's oceanographer, pirate, and I can't remember the last one. But it's like the 3 just like have nothing to do with each other at all. And like the oceanographer one, it's like, the fuck does that like? What's that one? And he's like, he's really good at scuba diving and he's really deadly with a harpoon. Like, those are the 2 things you gotta know. And like they even bring it up. It's like, the fuck does an oceanographer do? He's like, I make maps of the sea, damn it.
So I just looked it up. It was by Image.
Okay.
I don't know the writer, but I do know the artist.
Mm-hmm.
He did some. I am familiar with his art. He's really cool. He did some Batman stuff for a little while. And actually, he did some art for the actual current run of Batman a way back.
Okay.
But I found out that Chris Pratt was spearheading a movie.
Oh,
and it got
was
shelved.
he? Ah,
Yeah.
that's
So
right. I remember that.
He was going to play Duncan.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, that was also another series that like I read that I was like, this is. It was just ridiculous. I'm like, I love it. I love everything about everything that's happening here.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, the series got. I think it was supposed to have another another series or another season, I guess, run. But I think it got shut. I think it got canceled. I think because if I remember correctly,
the thing about Image is they don't usually cancel comics. It really just comes, from what I understand, it really just comes down to the writer and the artist. Obviously, popularity and sales is a huge thing, but from my understanding, it's really like, you guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because I remember getting through the series, and it leaves off on a pretty big cliffhanger. And then I remember just never hearing anything about it ever again. Which I thought was really disappointing.
It's really sad. Like, there was Mark Miller is a very famous writer, and he has written for Image a bunch, so much so that he has his own imprint within Image called Miller World. I believe it's actually a part of Kick-Ass and Wanted. I think those are a part of it. He wrote this one story, and it was like a joke Justice League, where I haven't read the story, but from what I understand, there was like a Batman foil, there was a Wonder Woman foil, and a Superman foil, but Superman was a milkman.
Awesome.
Like, he just flew around delivering people's milk.
Awesome. I love it.
I don't know what time period we did that, but he looked what I would assume like a 30s, 40s kind of guy.
Yeah, I was say 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
Maybe 50s.
And so he wrote this really interesting story called Chrononauts. And it was literally these 2 friends who I actually think that their time travel machine was a DeLorean. And it was intended that way. And one of the... And they're just like time traveling adventurers. But one of them gets like lost, or he intentionally goes astray, and he just does whatever he wants to throughout time, and doesn't necessarily, like, he's not being a villain, he's just enjoying his life. So he like amasses a fortune and has this mansion filled with a bunch of historical artifacts. I think he has like the Mona Lisa or something, and he has this big old chalkboard, and it has a list of all of his girlfriends from different time periods. There was Betty White, I think there was Eleanor Roosevelt, Cleopatra, and it wasn't necessarily that he was like, he wasn't disrupting time, he was jumping back and forth between the timelines, and like just living there,
like just having a good time.
Yeah,
like he's really essentially on vacation through time.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Is there enough? Hello? What up? Sure.
Two questions really quick.
Sure, what's up?
So I'm doing like Pokemon trading and shit.
Uh-huh.
And you're doing your.
I am currently doing that.
Yeah, okay. But I'm still gonna talk to you about this really quick.
Okay, good job. Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome. So this dude, Zero
Aura.
Yeah, he's offering to trade me 4 shinies for it. Do you think I should?
Depends on what the shinies are.
Okay, anything from this box. So I can get shiny Charizard and stuff like that.
If you gave me that shiny Arcanine, then I would say yeah.
You want the shiny Arcanine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, because that Pokemon is really hard to find.
That Pokemon is really hard to find.
Yeah.
You just like shiny Arcanine, don't you?
I do. Arcanine is one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yep. I'll see, and if he says yes, then I'll do it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of Pokemon,
yeah.
Honestly, that's a great segue. Speaking of Pokemon,
That is a good segue.
If you were so there are 8 generations of Pokemon? I think.
Now, Kalos was
sure
6, 7, 8. There is 8 now.
So there are 8. So there's 8 generations of Pokemon. How many generations of Pokemon have you played?
All of them.
You played all of them? Okay.
I didn't beat Sinnoh.
Sinnoh
Kanto,
is
Johto.
Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, right?
Yeah, I didn't beat it, but I played through a lot of it.
I'm actually in the process of playing through Platinum again because I found out that I never beat it either.
It's a great game.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sinnoh.
I'll say that it's okay.
Unova.
Unova is
Unova then Kalos.
Unova's black and white.
Black and white. Yeah.
Black
Kalos.
and white was also kind of okay. It was kind of meh.
What was the Ultra Sun, or what was the Sun and Moon?
Alola.
Alola, and then Galar.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. So there's 8. Yeah.
Okay. Question.
Answer maybe.
Favorite Pokemon from each generation.
Oh, that's.
And
if you had said starters, I literally was talking about.
I know we said start. Okay, well, let's start with starters. Start with starters since that's what we talked. We already talked about that in our Discord. Which, by the way, if you're not part of our Discord, please consider joining their Discord, where we occasionally talk to each other. But then a lot of the time it's just lurking.
Yeah, mostly lurking.
But we occasionally do say stuff.
Yep. So, starter is Charmander. And favorite overall Pokemon is Arcanine. Or Pidgeot. They're like the same for me. If I have a Kanto team, both of them are going to be on it every time.
All right. So, okay. Make a team for each generation. You can only use the Pokemon in that generation, though.
Like make a six Pokemon team?
Yeah, 6 Pokemon team.
Oh, that's
You can only
rough.
do it in that generation.
Arcanine.
It is really difficult. I'm like looking at the list too, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Pidgeot. I gotta go to Cerebi really quick.
I'm literally on Bulbapedia, and I'm like looking at the list. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Bulbapedia. Let's see.
All right. Well, see, if you're gonna
list of Pokemon,
you look. I already have like 3 of them
national
already
decks.
right now. So
okay.
Let's exclude. Okay, well, let's do a team of 7, because we'll have starter, and then if you want to do another one that's not including the starter.
Yeah, starter doesn't count. Well, yeah. So a team and 7, and 6.
And 6, yeah.
Boy, this is not going to be a competitive team.
No. This is pure. This is pure. Like, you just really like the Pokemon. I mean, it can be if you want it to be competitive. If you want it.
No, I just know that it won't.
But like, this is just like imagine you are a 10-year-old child, and you're like, oh, I just think it's cool. I started for me. Actually, I think originally I said it was Bulbasaur. I think is what I said. No, I did. I was smart. I said Squirtle. Yeah. So, starter would be Squirtle for me. Because I always liked Blastoise, actually.
Blastoise is cool.
Yeah, I actually remember. This is one of those childhood memories that keep me up at night. There was a point where I had a level, I think like 80, 90 Blastoise, and to this day I don't know what went wrong, but like my game glitched out, and I am 95% convinced that Team Rocket stole my Blastoise. Like legitimately, I fought Jesse and James, and then my Blastoise was gone. And I was like,
wait a second.
I think they legitimately just stole my Blastoise. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, so starter would be Blastoise for me. I would do Nidoking, Lapras, Snorlax, Primeape. Oh god. See, those are like the main 4 that I can already think of right now. Dodrio. I don't know why. I always thought Dodrio was a cool Pokemon. Muck. And Kingler.
Okay.
And Hitmonchan also as just like, if I had to take someone out, probably take out Muck and put in Hitmonchan instead.
Okay, I'm gonna cheat.
Okay.
With Johto, because I'm already a little ahead.
Okay.
So
wait,
for Kanto.
Okay.
Yeah. So for Kanto, for me, Charmander for the starter.
Okay.
Arcanine, Pidgeot, Gyarados, Dragonite, Charizard, Jolteon.
Oh, Jolteon's good.
It's not a good team.
One of my friends.
It doesn't cover anything. I have nothing to defend me against certain things.
Yeah. One of my friends. Apparently, I found out. I learned that Jolteon, I guess, in the original game, has the fastest speed in Red and Blue, which I did not know. Which I thought was really interesting.
That's one of the reasons that I like it so much.
Yeah.
So for Johto, since I'm already there.
Okay.
My starters are Cyndaquil and Totodile. Like,
yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, Cyndaquil and Totodile are definitely
I love them so much.
Yeah.
But if I you had to be like choose one, I have to pick Totodile because Typhlosion sucks ass.
Yeah,
I
do remember I had a Feraligatr that like won me everything. I taught it strength, and I was like, "This is the fucking bomb."
So if you watch speedrun or like any sort of run of Gen 2, Feraligatr gets you through the entire game. Typhlosion, I believe, has some of the worst stats and the worst moves list of any fire type, at least starter.
Wow, that's shocking.
He is actually garbage.
Huh.
And it makes me so sad because I love Cyndaquil and Quilava, but Typhlosion sucks, and Feraligatr is amazing. So yeah. Well, what about you?
Okay, so starter would also probably have to. It's also a tie between Cyndaquil and Totodile, but I would have to probably pick Totodile for Feraligatr. Then after that, I would do Togetic, Blossom, Sudowoodo, Politoed, Misdreavus, Steelix, and I think Delibird.
Delibird.
Like that's.
I
love Delibird. Also, blew my mind because I recently found out that the bag that Delibird holds is his fucking tail.
What?
And right? If you look at him, it's his tail. He's just holding his tail like a bag, and he puts shit into it. And
this is going in my ass.
I never knew that until I think I read a Pokedex entry for it, and I was like, "What the actual what? Excuse me?"
That's really weird.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't understand any of this, but I love Delibird so much. Delibird and Mystery Bus.
It carries food bundled up in its tail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like,
interesting.
That I honestly don't know why I never made that connection in the first place.
This image, and this is from Bulbapedia. This Delibird is flying with its tail in its mouth. Like it's holding the bag as if it was okay.
Oh, it's so great.
All right, that's interesting.
Love Delibird. Delibird and Mystery Bus are definitely like two of my top like favorite Pokemon for sure.
My team, I love Delibird, but I wouldn't put him on a team. Because he's just one of those, like, he's adorable.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do anything.
You buy the plushie, but then, like, in actuality, nah.
He is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be Feraligatr, Umbreon, Tyranitar, Ampharos, Politoed, and Suicune.
Ooh,
And the Suicune was my, like, I'm cheating, because I'm not going to count Celebi.
Right.
I'm not going to count Jirachi. But those are, like Zapdos, Articuno, like, those are the easily catchable ones.
Yeah.
And Suicune is kind of, like, switchable for Raikou. But I have Ampharos on the team.
I thought it was really interesting. So one of the things that I
Raikou.
always think is interesting is, I was actually watching Pokemon Twilight. I think it's Twilight Wings is what it is. The animated. It's like an animated short series.
Okay.
For Sword and Shield. But
okay.
Excuse me. Watching that got me. I was like, oh, there used to be a series that I watched. I think it was Pokemon Chronicles.
Wait, yeah, that had Raikou at the beginning.
It had Raikou at the beginning,
and
I thought it was really funny because out of all those three legendary like dogs, quote unquote, Suicune got its own game, Entei got its own movie, and Raikou kind of just gets shit on.
My dad downloaded me that, like, a couple episodes of that show, and I never really watched the Pokemon series, but I loved Chronicles, and that's why I fell in love with Raikou.
Yeah.
That's why he became one of my favorites. It was like, this dude's awesome, because I'd seen the Entei movie a bunch, and it's not great.
Yeah, I mean, like out of really all three of them, like, personally, I think Raikou looks really awesome.
Yeah,
like, I think
his shiny's cool.
Yeah, like, he looks really great.
Because he just, like, where's his shiny? Where's his shiny, goddammit?
Shiny looks, what's it look like? It looks like...
He gets, like, more orange.
Yeah.
And his
cloud is,
he looks more like
yellow.
a tiger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. It's cool. Like, not much really changes about him.
Yeah.
Except for his... I like the deeper orange.
Okay. Gen 3... This is probably going to be the hardest one, because this is definitely, like, Gen 3 and Gen 4 are probably my least favorite gens.
Oh,
like,
what?
Legitimately.
I started on Gen 3. That was my first game, was Ruby.
You and one of my best friends, he loves Gen 3, and I'm like, it just bores me.
I love him.
It bores me so much.
I know everything about him.
But maybe it's just because doing that Nuzlocke for Emerald kind of put a sour taste in my mouth because I got fucked so bad.
You fucked yourself.
Everything was... I kept catching psychic Pokemon. It was so annoying. I had so many psychic Pokemon.
Well,
I'm
you
just
know,
like,
in specific areas, you can go back.
So annoying. No, because Nuzlocke, you can only catch one per area.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, you got dicked.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. It sucked.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
It sucked so bad. Also,
this team is a bit more competitive.
I love the fact that Swampert is water ground, Blaziken is fire fighting, and then Sceptile's just grass.
It's but okay. So yes, Sceptile was straight garbage in typing wise. Until he got the Mega Evolution, and then he was Grass Dragon, and then he double sucked.
Yeah! Then it was even worse!
He got great moves, and it's like, wait,
it's just like,
he can still be hurt by a lot of shit. Yep. So, my go-to is Trico, He was my very first Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I do love Mudkip.
Yeah, Trico was definitely my first when I originally started. But then I just don't like how Sceptile looks. Especially because, like, it bothers me because both Trico and Grovyle, like, looking at them, they're very agile and, like, they do stuff. Sceptile is just kind of bulky.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh.
That's
okay.
an awkward transition.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, well, this is kind of unfortunate. So I think I would go Swampert personally, I think, now. I also just love Swampert's Mega Evolution because he just gets even more buff.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like, yes, this is what I want.
Swampert is pretty great. He is... I love all the final evolutions, but I don't like almost any of the mid-evolutions.
Yeah.
I like Grovyle just because I love that whole tree. I hate Combuskin. I hate Marshtomp. I don't honestly like Torchic, but I love Mudkip because he's a meme.
Yeah.
He's adorable.
Oh, God, this is... I'm looking at all this entire list, and I'm like, oh, this is real difficult.
So, I'm assuming you don't have your team yet.
No.
Mine is Sceptile, Aggron, Flygon, Salamence, Metagross, and Wishcash.
Okay.
I really like Wishcash. I had a buddy trade it to me. I was like just starting out. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'll give you this Pokemon," and it had Surf, and I could barely use it because I wasn't high enough level. But I used him all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, he's my guy.
Yeah, he's really good, especially because he's water ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was really, really good.
Yeah, I think he had Earthquake, Waterfall, Dive, and Surf.
I remember in my Nuzlocke run, mine had Magnitude, and I would always hit like 8 and 9s, like all the time, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful.
I hated Magnitude because I never got good ones.
Dude, I always I think in the highlight reel you can you can see it of like I hit like 8, 9, 8, 10, 9. Like, all, like, back-to-back. And I'm like, this is the best thing in the world. And then he died, and I was like, fuck.
No!
Everything's awful. It's sad times. Alright, so I'd definitely do Mudkip for Swampert. Then it'd be Ludicolo, Shiftry,
Shiftry, okay.
Breloom, Medichan, Metagross, Sharpedo, and that last one probably be Cast Form. Yeah.
Cast Form, huh?
No, actually, take that back. Not Cast Form, Regice, actually. That is me a little bit cheating. But Regice is by far one of my favorite Pokemons. Like, top 5 favorite Pokemon. Which says a lot because I hate Gen 3.
I almost forgot my favorite Pokemon. I almost didn't put him on my next. Because I'm an idiot. God damn it.
Which is what?
Lucario.
Oh, but that's Gen 4. You're fine.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah.
I'm already doing my next one.
Okay, yeah. Metagross and Regice are definitely 2 of my favorite Pokemon. Which, again, says a lot because Gen 3 is my least favorite generation. Regice is also... Amazing. Metagross is great. I remember
Mega Metagross in Omega Ruby was so cool.
I just love that I have a lot of like sentimental value for Metagross just because of going from Beldum and just that grind with just takedown. It's like such a satisfying payoff to like get to Metagross and just being like, I worked for this. I earned this fucking evolution. And then Regice for me, Regice is actually the only Pokemon I've ever leveled to 100.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Out of all the Pokemon games I've ever played, Regice is literally the only Pokemon that I loved so much that I was like, I'm going to get this Pokemon to level 100 because I love it that much.
I think the first one that do you count throwing a couple rare candies in?
Yeah,
because
sure.
I definitely did that a bunch.
Yeah. I did that. I definitely did that.
My first one was Flygon.
That makes sense.
I think.
That makes sense. Yeah, I saw a tweet about Pokemon, and it was like Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like we have Legendaries DLC, and like Legendaries here, Legendaries here, Legendaries here, and it's like Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Go ahead and just learn Braille, and then maybe we'll talk Legendaries.
Yeah.
Learn Braille first.
I don't know how I did that as a kid. I really don't.
I
was much smarter back then.
No, I found out that in the manual for, at least for Emerald, in the manual it has the whole Braille alphabet.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's like right in the back of it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then like when I remember looking up, the Braille alphabet for it too. Which honestly, like I wish Pokemon games still had those things like that.
I think
it was just great. I thought it was. I think it's like a really cool thing that they did it that way. Okay, Gen 4. Oh, this is gonna be even worse.
Yeah, this is
gonna be so much worse.
Gen 4 was hard for me
because God. Okay.
I barely played it, and most of the Pokemon I wasn't a huge fan of.
Oh boy, yeah.
I do have a full team, but like I went through the whole thing and I was like, I hate that Pokemon. I hate that Pokemon. I hate that Pokemon. Oh boy, these all suck. Okay, so are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go ahead and go on this one.
Okay, so I'm starting with Turtwig for Torterra.
Okay.
I'm starting there. Then I'm going Roserade.
Okay.
After that, it is oh god, Drifblim. Then Togekiss. Toxicroak.
I love Drifblim.
Drifblim's great. All the Pokemon entries
almost made it on my list.
Yeah, all the Pokedex entries for Drifblim and Drifloon are probably some of the best ones because they're so creepy, but they're like, this is awesome.
Let Esper, dude. That one's creepy as fuck.
Then Magmortar. So that's 5. Okay. Frostlass, and then subbing out my starter. God, it's really difficult. It'd either be Rotom or Porygon Z. Honestly.
I never liked the Porygon line.
It grew on me. Like, I really like a lot of the Sinnoh evolutions I really, really liked. Like, a lot of the Pokemon that like didn't get an evolution or like got an extra one, I really liked those, save for a few of them. But like those, like that is one thing I'll give Sinnoh. Those like some of those extra evolutions were like actually really great.
Oh yeah, Weavile almost made it on my list. What was it? Frostlass almost made it on my list.
Yeah.
I really like the baby evolutions. I don't like Electrovir, sorry.
Electivire.
But I love Electrike. I love he's just a socket, essentially.
Yeah. You mean Elekid?
Yeah, Elekid. That's what I meant.
Yeah, Elekid is
so adorable.
Elekid's really, really cute.
So for me, for Sinnoh, it's Piplup.
Okay.
I think he's like honestly the only good choice.
Interesting.
Like of the starters.
Okay.
So I do Empoleon, even though his typing is so bad.
Yeah, it's not great. It ain't great.
He has
I'll tell you that much.
Such shit moves.
Like oof.
Empoleon, Staraptor. So one thing that is really common that you will notice about me is I like the bird Pokemon.
You like it's like I noticed that. You really like the birds.
I'm not I even like Wingull and Pelipper. That's what it is. I like them, but they're really bad.
Yeah, my one of my best friends, he loves Gen 3. It's by far his favorite, and he loves Wingull. But his all-time favorite Pokemon is Shuckle.
Shuckle's cute.
Which is
I don't
really,
even know what it is.
It's really funny.
It's like one of those squeezy.
It's a turtle. It's a fucking turtle.
It is a turtle. Okay.
But like it's really funny because so you know the Pokecord that we have in our Discord, right?
Yeah.
For the longest.
Are you talking about? Is that Danforth?
Yeah, Danforth.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the longest time, he never caught a Shuckle on Pokecord. And every time we'd see one, we would always take it from him. We'd always catch it before he did.
Oh,
so,
no.
like, it wasn't until, I think, like, a couple years ago, he finally got one. And he was so fucking happy. And he's just like, 3 years! It took me 3 years to catch one of these! Because we always just caught them. And, like, one of our friends, his name is Ping. And if you look at his, like, Pokecord inventory, he's got, like, 20 Shuckles.
Oh my god.
He just kept catching them. You would, like, catch them and then he would release them.
You had this interesting dialogue in our Pokecord channel. I was like, why the hell are they're talking a bunch of stuff about Shuckle?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah, because he fucking loves Shuckle, and we just always catch it, or he skips over it, so he can't get it. It's so funny.
Rip. Okay. I was at Staraptor, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Staraptor, Luxray, I love that whole evolution line. It's really cool.
So, one of the things that when I first met you is I definitely thought that you would be like, if you had to choose like a type for a gym, for some reason I was like, Hex would probably make an electric type gym. Like, for some reason, it was like in my mind, I'm like, Hex is an electric type gym leader. I don't know why, he just is.
Okay.
Like, that's just the image I get. I don't know why.
I mean, okay, so I love Jolteon. I think every single one of these I've had an electric type Pokemon, except for Hoenn.
Yeah, I've noticed that I don't use
Jolteon
fire,
and
my two least used types are fire and electric by far.
Is there a Gen 3 electric type that I like? No. Oh yeah, no, Manectric. I love Manectric. How did he not make it in? For the Wish Cache?
Good question.
What the hell? I'm an idiot.
I mean, Wish Cache can learn electric moves, right?
I don't think so.
I think he learned something.
Yeah,
like.
I would totally be an electric type gym leader now that I think about it. Hell yeah. Jolteon, Ampharos, Manectric, Luxray. There's no good Unova electric.
A long time ago, when I originally played Diamond, my friends and I, we actually did a challenge of we all picked a type and we all pretended to be gym leaders. So like Danforth was fighting, I was flying, one of our other friends I think was Ghost, and then another one was Ice, I think.
The Ice one definitely lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck. How did Vespiquen not make it in? Fuck. I forgot about Vespiquen.
Where was I?
I
didn't make it past Luxray.
Yeah, you made it past Luxray.
Then Garchomp, Rotom Wash, and Lucario.
Garchomp, Rotom Wash. Okay.
Rotom Wash has the best typing.
I like that you say that you're specifically doing Rotom Wash. That's interesting.
He is on my he's on my competitive team in pretty much everything.
Brief tangent about competitive. I just saw on Twitter that I guess the new champion for like the Pokemon Junior League is like this 9-year-old girl.
Oh, nice.
And it's like
awesome.
they did like a whole interview with her, and it's like really, really cute. And it's just like she's like thanking her mom, her family, her friends, and like the entire time she's like clutching like this adorable Eevee plushie that like I guess it's like a good luck charm for her, and like she even has it like on stage when she's competing. It's so cute. And I'm like, good on you. Look at you.
I got to Otto. He plays competitive VGC, and he also does the card game. And he and I know this girl that used to play the card game a lot. And I met a bunch of people because I would go with her to events. I would and I met a ton of people, and a lot of these guys go to Worlds. I was like, holy crap. And they're,
Wow.
like 99% of them are super nice.
That's awesome.
Super nice
That's
people.
super cool.
I'm like, oh my god. I didn't know it was so huge, especially in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, goddamn.
I'm looking I'm looking back at the Sinnoh list, and there are like a surprising amount of honorable mentions of like, oh yeah, this one, like, oh man, how come this should have made it in, this should have made it in, fuck.
Weavile, I like Gliscor.
I had Gliscor.
Mine Junior, Bonsly.
Mine Junior's cute. I remember. So
Lopunny, oh god,
Lopunny, yeah. So Danforth's other favorite Pokemon is Rhydon.
Okay.
And this is one of those things that keeps me up at night because I think back on it every once in a while.
Oh yeah.
When there was Diamond had just come out, or like just recently come out, and I was telling him, I was like, "Hey, did you know that Rhydon has an extra evolution now?" And he's like, "Oh, that's dope. Oh, that's awesome. Like, what is it?" And I go, "I don't know. I have the item, so I can give it to you, and then you can trade it to me, and we'll evolve your Rhydon." And then we evolved it into Rhyperior, and he's like, "Thanks. I hate it." Because it looks so awful.
Thanks.
And I hate it. To this day, I feel so bad about it that I ruined one of his favorite Pokemon.
Thanks. I hate it. Oh, that's amazing.
It's just like, I feel so guilty about it still.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, oh god, what have I done?
He gets like a bulletproof vest. It looks so bad.
It's so bad.
These next ones are getting actually hard.
Gen 5. Ooh,
by the way.
This one's also going to be difficult. Alright, so I'm going to cheat on this one. My starter is going to be Snivy for Superior / Victini, actually.
Okay.
Because Victini is technically a legendary Pokemon, but
it's the zero.
It's the zero because you could get it as an event, which I did get.
Yeah, same.
And so like I remember like the first like I want to say like several hours of me playing, I just used Victini because Victini's fucking awesome. Like so actually dope.
I got that one up really high because I that was the Egg Bomb. If you had the lucky egg and what was the stupid Pokemon?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Victini's ability is you get bonus experience for winning, I think.
Yeah. What the hell was that Pokemon called? No, it's not Munna. Audino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you just go in an area that has like level 36 Audinos, and then you get
just farm them.
Crazy strong.
Yeah. So those would be my starters, Victini and Snivy. Then it'd be Simisage. Oh god, this is gonna be really difficult actually. Fuck. Sock. Leaveney. Darumaka. Specifically, the Fire Psychic one. What is that? 4? Caracosta. Oh god. Kling Klang.
Oh, I can't believe he did that. He just got rid of his Aurora. You idiot.
Rip. And Chandelure. With honorable mentions being Hydreigon and B-Sharp and Golurk.
There's a lot of...
Fuck, I should have put Golurk in, actually.
There's a lot of honorable mentions. Like, my Unova has...
Yeah. I would actually switch...
than 6.
I would actually switch Golurk and Kling Klang out, actually. I would do Golurk over Kling Klang. I just like Kling Klang just because of the name.
I remember when that Pokemon came out, I was so disappointed. And Chingling? No, Klefki.
Klefki.
What's Chingling? Klefki.
Chingling is the bell.
I was just like, are you serious? You guys are literally just using onomatopoeia.
Yeah. I just like Kling Klang because it's cling, clang, and then cling clang.
Cling, clang. Yeah.
Just yeah, this makes sense.
When I first heard it, I was like, this is dumb. Yeah. And then I started to really get into it, and I'm like, okay,
this makes sense.
Okay, Unova, Snivy, because it's the only choice. It is the only choice.
I actually, I don't mind Embar all that much.
Yeah,
Embar's okay.
But Samurott? Oshawott adorable. Duat and Samurott are both like, why?
Yeah.
Like, Samurott had the potential to be so cool, and it's like...
I love Superior simply because of... obviously, it's just a play on Superior.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, even just looking at it, it's like, it knows that it's better than you.
Oh,
I'm like, it's so great.
Its nose is up, it's all like...
It fits so well, and I'm like, I love it. It's perfect.
Like, that is... Do you know who Jeffree Star is?
Yes.
Jeffree Star is a Superior.
Accurate.
In a good way. I only mean that in a good way. I think
correct.
he's an awesome person.
Yeah, you are correct.
But he's just like regal.
It's just that regal, that regal aura of I get it.
Yeah. So Superior, Excadrill, Crocodile, Zoroark, Haxorus. That's how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hydreigon, Virizion, and Genesect. I chose 8. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Because I love Virizion and Genesect.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Yeah, I remember seeing spoilers for this gen, for Gen 5, and I remember the moment I saw Darmanitan, I was like, this is by far my favorite Pokemon in this entire gen.
Really?
100%. I thought it was I just thought it was so fucking cool because it's a Darumaka doll. From Japanese culture.
Okay.
And it was just the sheer fact of that. I was like, oh, this is fucking dope. And then the fact that it can turn into fire psychic because an ability there are specific ones that you have to catch in the desert. And so the ability is when it gets to less than half health, it turns into a fire psychic type.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's awesome. That's so fucking cool. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites.
I did hate that generation, a lot. I don't think I ever beat the Elite Four. I could not bring myself to finish the...
It's weird. I would say, I remember the Elite Four for Gen 5 being weird. I'm just like, this is odd.
I just genuinely didn't have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
The Pokemon in it were interesting. I obviously had a lot of choices.
Yeah.
But it was the story didn't grab me.
Yeah.
That girl that I was mentioning earlier, she was super upset that I didn't like it.
Aww.
She was super mad. She was like, N is the best character. Really you should love him. And I was like, well, why though? Well, but why?
There's not a lot for Gen 6 actually. There's really not a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah, I had to fudge some stuff. Actually, no, Gen 6 I actually managed to do okay. Gen 5 I had to fudge some stuff because there are Pokemon in there I never even got. Or 7.
Yeah. Okay.
So, for Gen 6, Kalos is Froakie. I was actually having this conversation earlier with Xavier. Why everybody chooses Froakie?
Yeah,
chooses Froakie.
Pretty basic answer.
Because literally, we were sitting in my car, we were going through all of the starters, and it was Froakie, and then I was like, I can't remember either of the other two, and he's like, Fennekin, and it evolves into that fox thing, and then we were like, what the hell is the grass starter? And neither of us could figure it out.
I completely 100% forgot the grass starter.
Yeah, I was like, you have to look it up.
Well, it's
Chespin. I was like,
the grass one is the worst too because the move that it learns is basically protect.
Yeah.
And even still, it's a shitty protect because the only time it actually does damage is if it gets attacked by a physical move. And it's just like, cool, you've given me Protect. Awesome, thanks.
But shitty.
You've just given me a shitty Protect. This is bullshit.
So, Froakie to Greninja because because Greninja's fucking amazing. Talonflame because
birds.
Because Bird, and it's one of the best Pokemon in that generation.
Because Bird.
Aegislash because double Protect.
Yep.
Xerneas because it made me hate Fairy-type Pokemon. Because it destroyed my favorite type, which was Dragon. Which, taking your Charizard X to fight a Xerneas, I didn't realize how bad of an idea that was.
Yeah, it's not great. It's really not great.
I caught a Xerneas in a Premier Ball.
Nice.
I was throwing nothing but Pokeballs and Premier Balls at it because I was like, I'm doing this for the pretties.
Nice. Good. I mean, that's all what Unova was.
Yeah. Unova was great.
Is it Unova? It's not Unova.
Alola. No. Kalos.
Kalos, that's it.
Kalos. I loved that game so much.
I did, yeah. I honestly, I would say X and Y definitely was like, I felt like I definitely fell off, like started falling off, like by Black 2. Because I was like,
I never played
it's okay.
Or Y2.
But like playing X and Y, I was like, this is this was Pokemon for me. This was definitely
brought me back into it.
It brought me way back into playing Pokemon again. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted Pokemon to be.
I started breeding. I was trying to catch every single Pokemon. I was trading everybody. I did wonder trades for hours.
Yeah,
I think 100 and something hours.
I kept going to the Battle Cafe literally every day just to battle and like grind my team up again, just because that was just so much fun.
It was so fun. Mega Evolutions are by and far my favorite edition, and I'm really sad that they're gone.
Yeah.
Like I hate Z moves, and Gigantamax is kind of a nice in between of both of them.
Yeah.
But I do miss Mega Evolutions more than anything they've ever taken out.
Yeah. Alright, so mine would go. I
didn't get to finish.
Oh, wait, didn't you? I thought you did.
No, I said Xerneas.
Oh,
like
right.
Goodra and Sylveon.
You hit the bottom of the list, and I got confused.
I Goodra and Sylveon. There you go. You can go.
Okay. Mine would do. I actually would go Fennekin as my starter. Actually.
Okay.
Fennekin to Delphox.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think it's because Froakie's such a basic choice that I was like, I was annoyed by it because I'm like, like it's cool, yeah, but I'm like, I don't like that. But Fennekin, for some reason, I just really like. It was like just a spiritual fox wizard. And I'm like, this is cool. Like this is just fucking cool.
I hate its final evolution.
Really, I love the final evolution because it's like this fox shaman, and I'm like, this is so cool.
I also hate Fennec foxes.
Oh well, okay, well that's a you thing. That's more of a you problem.
That is a me thing.
But so I go Fennekin to Delphox. Then I would go. I can't even pronounce this name. Vivillon.
What the hell?
Is that
a Pokemon?
Yeah, it's a flying bug, and the wings.
Pavilion. Oh no, it is Vivillon.
Vivillon, yeah.
I always pronounced it Pavilion.
Who knows? But so
because it has a bajillion different.
It has a bunch of different patterns on the wings, and one of the pattern. There's a special pattern. It's a Pokeball.
Really
cool. I had that one. So I would do Pavilion or Vivillon. Go-Goat, just because Go-Goat. Aegislash, because double protect.
Double protect.
Like, Clawitzer.
And Swords Dance.
And Swords Dance. Clawitzer. Halucha, that's 6, right?
Yeah.
And then Noivern.
Noivern.
As, like, my sub.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved Halucha. Halucha's definitely by far my favorite in the gen, just because it's fighting flying, and 2, it's really cool. It's a masked luchador eagle. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
So, Chatot. Did you ever use Chatot in the way that he was like supposed to be used, quote unquote?
No.
he had a specific move that if you spoke into the microphone, then he would say what you said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was actually pretty cool.
It was a fun little like way to like incorporate the microphone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I only did it ever a couple of times, but that was because like I hated hearing this bastardized version of my voice, because I already hate hearing my voice in general, and I'm like, this is even worse. I hate this even more now.
How do you edit your own videos?
Through a lot of pain and a lot of suffering.
That's why I don't edit
a
my
lot,
videos.
A lot of repetition, and I'm like, it having to edit my own stuff is really great and also really bad. It's really bad because I hate hearing myself. It's really good because it forces me to try to be a lot more entertaining, so that way I can at least tolerate editing myself.
Okay.
So it motivates me to be better and make better content, so that way when I edit, I'm like, okay, I don't immediately hate this person. But yes, editing stuff for myself is the worst thing in the world for me, because I absolutely hate. It's not just I hate hearing myself, it's I hate watching myself do stuff.
Huh.
I just cringe at it, because I'm just like, no, you're not doing this right. I know for a fact that you're fake. It's like the whole imposter syndrome. It's like, I know for a fact that you're not a real person, and I know that this is all a ruse, and it's just like, I hate it. I hate all of it. Also, I get really nitpicky of like, I could have done that better, I could have done that better, or I should have done this.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like, it's good that you notice that, because
I mean,
especially if you learn it.
Yeah, I grew up as a performer. Like I did drama. I did drama in high school. I did marching band all throughout high school and college. I took dance lessons for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Glee Club. Like, my whole life has revolved around some sort of performing or some sort of performance arts. And so I think it's just because I grew up like that made me really hypercritical on stuff that I did, as well as that's also why I just don't like watching myself do stuff, because I'm just so, it's hard for me to get out of that mindset of like just enjoying what I do, rather than it's like, oh, you messed up there, or like, yeah, you could have done that, or you could have done this. It's just awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I get you.
Yeah. It definitely editing myself now has gotten better, but I remember like when I first started streaming, hearing my voice was literally the cringiest thing that like you could ever have to listen to. Like, I would just like, if you like, even like looking back at my old streams, I'm just like, oh, I hate everything about this.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like any of what I'm saying right now.
Oh, I've definitely, like, I had old YouTube videos, very, very old YouTube videos, and it was just like, I sound very young.
Yeah.
I'm just rambling completely. I mean, not that I don't ramble now, but I don't know what the hell I was ever talking about.
Yeah, it's just like, you look back and it's like those, like the rambling that you do, you like, and in the moment you have a plan, you know where it's going, but like watching back, it's like, I have no idea where this conversation is going now. I have no idea what your train of thought is. All right, Gen 7.
Yeah.
Back to Pokemon. Gen 7. Ooh, this one's hard. Not because there's lack of stuff, but it's like, what's a
this one was hard. I definitely cheated.
Oh boy.
The stuff that I never used is on this list.
Okay.
Because as much as I said I don't like Black and White, I really don't like Sun and Moon. I bought Ultra Sun and I played it. I had 3 hours on it, and I got the first Pokemon.
Nice.
I got it, and I left it open, and I walked away.
Nice.
And I was like, nope.
Fantastic.
And then I had Xavier beat the game for me. It's literally what happened.
God damn it.
Anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead, because
right.
I did.
So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and say starter is going to be Rowlet into Decidueye.
Okay.
Alternatively, I would do Poplio, in Primarina.
No.
Yeah, like actually, it's I would if you put a gun to my head and said you had to pick one, I'd pick Rowlet in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
but I would say, but I did
better.
I played Ultra. I think it's Ultra Moon. I played Ultra Moon and I did Populo, and I don't know. There's something about Primarina that I was like, I actually really like Primarina. like I actually really liked having her on a team. But yeah, I would definitely do Rowlet Decidueye as my go-to for sure. Then Vikavolt.
Okay.
I would do Ghost, Flying, Oricorio. Then it would be where is it? Salazzle. Beware. Serena. Golisopod. And Delmise. That's 8.
Okay.
Yeah. And then honorable mention would be Komo'o and Stakakata, the Ultra Beast.
Oh, I hate all of the Ultra Beasts. That was another reason
I also don't like them, but like I just like Stakakata because it's just a bunch of bricks. It's like I think a bunch of sentient bricks just put together, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is great.
All right. For me, Rowlet into Decidueye.
Yep. Honestly, it's the choice that makes the most sense.
Like Hanorok. And I like the what do they call it? Is it the Twilight form?
Yeah, that's the middle one.
Yeah, I like that one. Salazzle, even though I never got one.
It took me forever to get a Salazzle.
Even though I never used it. Solgaleo and Silvally.
Okay.
I really didn't like that game. But I loved Solgaleo. Solgaleo was probably my go-to. Like, Decidueye and Solgaleo were like, yeah.
Yeah, I would say honorable mention is also Lycanroc for me, but I would do Midnight form, actually.
Those are the... I don't
really
like the Midday, but Midnight and Twilight are really cool.
Alright, Gen 8. Gen 8 actually might be the easiest one. I really like Gen 8 a lot.
I do too, but it's hard to like because there's not a whole lot of Pokemon in it.
Yeah,
like Kalos was hard because there wasn't a ton in it.
Yeah,
it's not like a bad game.
Yeah, but yeah, Galar is also really difficult because there isn't a whole lot either.
So I chose Scorbunny and Cinderace, like.
Okay.
A lot of people.
Yep.
Corviknight, keep with the bird theme.
Yep.
I also really think it's awesome. Dragapult, Toxtricity, even though I never used it, I think he has one of the coolest designs.
I love Toxtricity. I'm in the process of trying to get a Gigantamax Toxtricity now.
I think I have one. Dude. I think I got lucky enough.
Oh, what was so bad? They're so cool.
Zacian, because I haven't really been that excited about a legendary in a very long time. And Mr. Rhyme, because if you're gonna do the Mr. Crab, you're gonna meet the Mr. Rhyme.
That honestly, Mr. Rhyme is on my honorable mentions 100%.
I love Mr. Rhyme.
I saw this amazing tweet of somebody it was a Hitmontop versus a Mr. Rhyme, and it was just like the fucking dance battle of the century happening right before my eyes. Because Mr. Rhyme's animation is tap dancing in Sword and Shield, and Hitmontop's is capoeira. So they're just having this dance battle against each other, and I'm like, this is amazing. This is quality content right here. All right, so mine would be Grookey and Rillaboom, because Drum Daddy.
Yeah.
Then I would go into Toxtricity, low-key form specifically.
Okay.
Graplocked.
He was on my honorable mention list.
Then probably Hatterene, Sirfetch'd, Frostmoth, and Stonejourner, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
With honorable mentions, I actually have a lot of honorable mentions for this one, actually. Honorable mentions would probably have to be Orbital, what is it? Orbital, Appleton,
everyone loves Appleton.
Dude, Appleton's adorable. Obstagoon, Phalanx, Alchemy, and what is it? Arctifish.
I don't remember which one that one is. Is that
It's
the one
of
that...
the fossil ones.
Oh, okay. I don't usually get those.
Yeah, it's a weird combination. You have to do a fish and a dinosaur, I think, is the combination, I think. Yeah, fossilized fish and fossilized dino is the combination.
Nice.
I just love it because you look at him, it's just like, his face is just like this happy little fish, but then his mouth is actually on top of his head. And, like, even the Pokédex entry is, it says, because its mouth is on top of its head, it had a difficult time eating, so it quickly went extinct.
Yeah.
So I just revived this abomination. But yeah, I liked Sword and Shield a lot. Sword and Shield was actually a really good game.
Yeah.
I
definitely kind of got bored, but I think it was just, I usually get really into completing the Pokédex, but I was also really sad because the Pokédex was so small.
Yeah, but I mean, with DLC,
like,
they're adding more to it, so...
They're only adding 200 more.
I mean...
Out of the 890 total.
I mean, that's 600.
402.
No,
yeah.
That's 600 out of the 800 total, so we're already...
Out of the almost 900.
Out of the almost 900.
Very nearly 900.
Either way, that you're 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and I hope that they plan on doing more DLC to add the remainder.
Yeah,
because I don't think Pidgeot is going to be in the game, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, it's like, it's good enough for now.
It's okay.
It's okay. Okay. All right.
All right. So.
Well, we've been going for about 2 hours now.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's been a little bit.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I didn't get to the thing that I want. The other thing I want to talk about. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
But
I have more stuff.
I think this is a pretty good place to call it as far as our first test episode.
Yeah.
For this
Oh
podcast.
wait. Well, you wanted to talk about that Valentine's Day thing.
I did. But it's kind of whatever. It doesn't matter too much. Really, it was just going to be I pulled up an article about, like, different Valentine's traditions all around the world. And I was going to have you guess. I was going to read you a description of the tradition. I was going to have you guess what country it was.
Let's just do it really quick. All
right. So in the spirit of February and Valentine's Day, I have a list of 10 different Valentine's traditions around the world.
Okay.
You will get a point if you can guess the bare minimum. You can guess what continent it's from.
Okay.
It's on. Bare minimum,
That's
you get
easy.
a point. All right.
It's a 1 in 7 chance.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a really easy
1 in 6 chance because there's no way Antarctica is on that list.
You'll get an extra point if you can actually name the country.
Okay.
All right.
I am shit at geography, so this is going to be fun.
So, I would tell you where this article came from, but I don't want you to look it up and cheat. So
I would totally do that.
I'm not going to tell you what article this is from.
Okay.
All right. So, although this is reading just straight from the actual thing. Although Valentine's Day is a relatively new holiday in this country, celebrated since the early 1990s, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the country has embraced the 14th with a twist. Rather than roses, friends and sweethearts exchange pressed white flowers called snowdrops. Another popular tradition is the exchange of lovers' cards, While lovers' cards were originally transparent cards, which showed a picture of the card giver presenting a gift to his sweetheart, the term is now synonymous with any card exchanged on Valentine's Day. On February 14th, men also give women Gackerbrev, or a joking letter, consisting of a funny poem or rhyme written on intricately cut paper and signed only with anonymous dots. If a woman who receives the Gackerbrev can correctly guess the sender, she earns herself an Easter egg later that year.
Okay. So this sounded like it was going to be something from an Asian country because it sounded like kind of formal.
Yeah.
Until you said Gackerbrev.
You don't think that's Japanese or anything like that?
No, not really. From my cursory knowledge of Asian culture, that doesn't sound very it doesn't go along with what little I know of each language.
Okay.
Is it Scottish?
No.
No. Gackerbrev. I am very bad at geography, so. Shit.
I'm also really bad, so I can't really tell you if they're hot or cold or not.
I don't even know.
I would say you're actually probably really close. I would think.
Well, my ideas were Ireland or Scotland or the UK.
You're pretty close. It's none of those, but you're pretty close. Like you're in that general mindset. I think. No.
Greenland, Iceland?
No.
Hmm.
I'll give you one more guess.
Well, it's probably a European country.
Correct.
Okay. Ooh.
I'll give you one more guess, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't sound French. Okay. European countries.
Doesn't sound French.
Is it French?
No.
It's French.
It's definitely not French.
I gotta.
It's definitely not French.
I'm not trying to look at a world map, and this is making it even
harder. I love to give the women the Gackerbrev.
Fuck. I'm gonna Poland?
No, it is Denmark.
Denmark. Okay.
Yeah, so you were close. Like I think you were in that.
I was kind of getting there.
You were getting there. You were definitely getting there. Because I'm not good at geography, I couldn't really tell you if you're hot or cold or not.
Yeah.
But your guesses though were like you're definitely like you would eventually kind of get into that order.
Yeah. I think Amsterdam was kind of my next. Sweden, that kind of area.
Yeah.
Would have been my next go-tos.
All right. So here's the next one. It's been said that the first Valentine's Day card originated in this country. Today, Valentine's Day's cards remain a popular tradition in this country and around the world. Another traditional Valentine's Day event was the Letterie d'amour, or drawing for love. Men and women would fill houses that faced one another, and then take turns calling out to one another and pairing off. Men who weren't satisfied with their match could simply leave a woman for another, and the woman left unmatched gathered afterward for a bonfire. During the bonfire, women burned pictures of the men who wronged them and hurled swears and insults at the opposite sex. The event became so uncontrollable that the government eventually banned the tradition altogether.
This sounds incredibly French.
You would be correct.
I'm gonna go with France.
You would be absolutely correct.
that whole thing sounded so French. Well, the men could just walk the fuck away.
They could just leave.
Oh, this woman isn't to my liking. Oh, go away. I will leave.
You would be correct. It is France.
Okay. And the women would just burn pictures.
Yeah, like that has to be such a like empowering but also really terrifying thing to come across, of just like women yelling insults at a bonfire while burning pictures of men, of like,
imagine the happy couples that did get to like stay together or get together, and then they're just like, what happened?
What if
and then the girl looks at the guy and be
like that's
you're right to choose me.
That's what I want. Yeah, it's like that's what I want to know. If like the guy who chose another girl, and then like they happen across this, I'm like, oh god. That actually reminds me of there's this really funny comedian, Taylor Tomlinson, that I'm a big fan of, and she has this joke of she was like on a date with a guy, and she's like, yeah, and I asked him, was just like, has anything really bad happened in your life? And he genuinely had to like think about it, of just like, well, I guess now that you mention it, I guess not. And that's when I realized I have to be the worst thing that's happened in his life now. That's my job now. Because I have to be his first mistake. There are a lot of firsts. You could be the one that got away, the one you married, the one that set your car on fire. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame, doesn't matter. As long as as long as my picture's on the wall, that's what matters.
You gotta do something big. Yeah, and you might as well go out.
The only important thing is that you remember me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. Number 3. So Valentine's Day is a popular holiday for young couples in this country, and variations of the holiday are celebrated monthly from February through April. The gift-giving starts on February 14th, when it's up to women to woo their men with chocolates, candies, and flowers. The tables turn on March 14th, when men not only shower their sweethearts with chocolates and flowers, but up the ante with a gift. And for those who don't have much to celebrate on either Valentine's Day or this other holiday, there is a third holiday, Black Day. On April 14th, it's customary for singles to mourn their solitary status by eating dark bowls of jjajangmyeon, or black bean paste noodles.
Okay, this is definitely an Asian country.
Okay.
Is it China?
No.
Is it Taiwan?
No.
I'm gonna
give you one more guess, because there are only so many guesses that you can name to get it right. So I'm gonna give you one more guess.
Say the name of the food again.
I'm gonna butcher it, but it's jjajangmyeon, or black bean paste noodles.
Is it Japan?
No, it is South Korea.
Okay. So it sounded like you said Jiajian something, which sounds very Chinese.
Yeah.
And that's why I went China, Taiwan.
Yeah. I think
and then Neon,
from now on,
I'm just between Japan and Korea.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna not say these foreign words anymore, just because 1, I think it gives it away, and 2, I'm just gonna butcher them, so it's not gonna help you.
It does help.
I mean, like, I'll just say what it actually translates to.
Oh, that's giving me at least a little something, because I would have been like, that sounds like a country that's very happy with itself, and I would have gone back to Europe. And then you said that, and I was like, that's definitely an Asian country.
That sounds happy with itself. Okay.
Like one of those countries that's on the list of like 10 happiest places to live.
Okay.
You know?
Alright.
And it wasn't until the last part I was like, that's an Asian country.
Alright. So, alright.
Why did I think it was China? That's not a happy place to live.
No. Alright,
what the fuck?
Here we go. Next one. Alright. A traditional romantic gift is a love spoon. As early as the 17th century, men carved intricate wooden spoons as a token of affection for the women they loved. Patterns and symbols were carved into these love spoons, each signifying a different meaning. A few examples include horseshoes, which stand for good luck, wheels, which symbolize support, and keys, which symbolize the keys to a man's heart. Today, love spoons are also exchanged for celebrations such as weddings, anniversaries, and births. Love spoons, baby, love spoons.
That gives absolutely no information away whatsoever. There's no geographical context for any of that. Oh, fuck. What's the country that has the wooden shoes? Is that Sweden?
Sweden or Poland?
I'm gonna go with Sweden.
You're wrong.
Okay. Sweden, final answer. I have no idea.
Sweden, final answer. It is Wales.
Huh.
Yeah, the Welsh.
I forget that that's a different country. I like the UK for me is an all-encompassing thing.
That's very fair. That's very fair enough.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah,
In the history
actually,
of it. Because everything I know about like
it's very
British
nice.
people is they're very unhappy.
Yeah. Man, I've been to Wales. Wales is a very nice country, actually. Very nice.
I have never traveled outside the States.
Yeah. Wales is really cool. I, for the life of me, it really bothers me because when I went to Wales, I was part of my men's glee club in college, and we took it was a 14-day trip where we toured through 6 different countries all throughout Europe. And Wales was one of the first stops that we made. And it was also probably like one of my first experiences drinking in general. And
was it because the age was younger, or because you were finally 21?
It was primarily because the age was younger. And it was just kind of one of those things. It was like, well, when in Rome, might as well just do what the Romans do. But I found out, one, I don't like beer. That's how I found that out. I very quickly found that out. And then 2, I really fucking love cider.
Cider's amazing,
dude. But
don't let anybody tell you it's a pussy drink, because that will put you on the goddamn floor,
dude. European cider fucking hits differently though. Oh my fucking god, it's so good. When we were staying in Wales one night though, my friends and I, we decided to go to a pub, and again, this was one of my first experiences drinking there. Or just in general, and I remember the bartender. She was very nice, very polite, and she's like, "What can I get you?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really drink all that often." And she's like, "What do you like, beer?" And I go, "Not really." And she's like, "A cider man then." And I'm like, "Sure, probably." And she handed me. I remember she handed me this bottle of, it was a pear cider, and to this day, it is probably one of the best things I had ever drank in my life. Legitimately, it was so fucking delicious, and I don't remember what it was called at all. It's like if you asked me what it was, I couldn't tell you, but I know for a fact if I saw it one day, I would immediately recognize it.
There was a really good cider I had. It was actually, I think, from Portland, and I've never seen it since.
Yeah,
sad.
I've only ever had it in Wales, and I'm just like, fuck, man, fuck. Alright, next one. Number 5.
Halfway.
Alright. So, the equivalent to Valentine's Day in this country is called the 7th Night Festival, which falls on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month each year. According to lore, a heavenly king's daughter and a poor cowherd fell in love, married, and had twins. When the father learned of their marriage, he sent his queen to bring the princess back to the stars. Upon hearing the cries of the husband and the children, the king allowed the princess to meet once a year on this holiday. During this holiday, young women prepare offerings of melon and other fruits in hopes of finding a good husband. Couples also head to temples to pray for happiness and prosperity. At night, people look to the heavens to watch as stars Vega and Altair come close during the star-crossed pair's annual reunion. I omitted a lot of stuff from this because the other words that I would say would be a dead giveaway. So this will be kind of difficult.
That's not fair.
Trust me, if you get this answer or when I tell you this answer, no. You're gonna understand why I omitted a lot of this stuff.
Greece?
No.
China?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the holiday is called Qixi. And
how do you spell it?
Qixi.
Oh, Qixi.
Qixi, yeah.
Yeah.
In the lore, the heavenly king's daughter is Xinu.
Okay.
The cowherd's name is Niu Long.
Yunlong?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my roommate's name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I omitted those word names just because of like I'm going to say them, and I'm like, he's definitely gonna know what it is,
Yeah.
or at the very least, he's gonna get real close. All right, number 6. On the eve of Valentine's Day, women in this country used to place 5 bay leaves on their pillows, one at each corner and one in the center, to bring dreams of their future husbands. Alternatively, they would wet bay leaves with rose water and place them across their pillows. In another part of this country, Jack Valentine acts as a Santa of sorts for Valentine's Day. Children anxiously wait to hear Jack Valentine knock at their doors, and although they don't catch a glimpse of old Father Valentine, children enjoy the candies and small gifts left on their porches.
These countries sound way happier than we do.
Right? A lot more interesting.
That's what I'm getting from this.
A lot more interesting.
Like, they have way cooler holiday traditions.
Right?
Than we do. That also gives like nothing away.
Yeah.
Other than it's probably European.
Yes, you would be correct.
Oh, fuck.
But like, yeah, in America, you give cards and chocolate, and maybe have sex.
And maybe you get laid.
And maybe you get laid. Other than that,
Yeah.
it's nothing interesting, nothing fun.
We have Tinder.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to give flowers to your Tinder date. It's like, you and I both know what we're doing. It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And we matched. We're going to go see a movie and not pay attention.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's not descriptive in any way. And I already got France.
You did.
Denmark's out of the question.
Yep.
Wales is out of the question.
Correct.
I don't remember anything that you said.
Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I completely forgot.
On the eve of Valentine's Day, women used to place 5 bay leaves on their pillows, one at each corner and one in the center, to bring dreams of their future husbands. Alternatively, they would wet bay leaves with rose water and place them across their pillows. Jack Valentine acts as a Santa of sorts for Valentine's Day. Children anxiously await to hear Jack Valentine knock at their doors, and although they don't catch a glimpse of old Father Valentine, children enjoy the candies and small gifts left on their porches.
Jack Valentine.
I feel like that Jack Valentine is a pretty.
Is that England?
Yes, you would be correct.
Okay. Why is everything Jack there?
Who knows, man? Jack's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Jack Frost, Jack Valentine, Jack the Ripper.
Speaking of Jack, I love Jack the Ripper. That sounds terrible, but I love him.
Go on.
Yeah, no, the butchering of prostitutes is a favorite pastime of mine. No, he's just an interesting person in like literature and history.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Brexit happened.
Yeah.
The Union Jack isn't a thing anymore.
Right.
Technically, so I wonder what the hell they're gonna do with the flag.
Who knows?
Not that it has any bearing, but it just made me think about it. I was like,
who knows?
Union Jack change.
I think it's also
Anyway.
really funny because I guess apparently Union Jack there's a right side up and an upside down, which I guess that just means that I'm ignorant because I'm an American or just because I don't live in England. But like, I just think that's one of those funny things of like, I guess there's a way to differentiate maybe, but who knows?
I don't. Oh well. I'm looking at it, and at first I was like
confused.
I'm not seeing.
I don't know. It is just one of those things of like I kind of like someone told me.
No,
and I'm
I
like,
actually do
okay.
think I see it.
All right,
It's hard to describe. Anyway, yeah.
all right, number 7. All right. While Valentine's Day celebrations in this country are similar to celebrations in Western countries, one tradition has swept the country and led to thousands of couples sharing a wedding day on February 14th. Mass wedding ceremonies have gained popularity in this country in recent years, leading hundreds of couples to gather at malls or other public areas around the country to get married or renew their vows in mass.
I've actually heard about this.
This seems like a nightmare. Though,
yeah, it does actually sound like a bad idea.
Though, I mean, if they're cool with it, I guess it's okay. But this seems like a fucking nightmare. Just reading this excerpt, I already have just 1,000 thoughts about
You keep cutting
this. Oh. I was saying that just reading this in general, I already just have a bunch of thoughts about this.
Damn. Ooh.
I will admit, this one was also just not... There was nothing helpful in this one.
Mass marriages.
Yep. I hear typing. Why?
I'm looking at Union Jack stuff.
Oh.
Because I'm trying to think about...
Trying to figure out how do you tell?
Yeah, but I found the image, and I was right, essentially.
I literally I heard about this. I think I saw it on a travel show. Is it in the Asian continent?
No.
The continent of Asia?
No.
No? It's not.
Hold on.
Is it Russia?
It
Russia?
Let me check. I gotta look at some.
Because Russia is an Asian country.
No. Fuck. Is this?
It sucks that
Zoom
both
out.
of them are.
Zoom out. Okay. You would be correct that it is in Asia, technically.
Okay. Technically.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I thought this country was in South America.
I take it it's South America?
I thought it was.
Okay. That's...
But again, I'm bad at geography, so that doesn't
So
help
am I.
anything. Yeah, so it's fine.
So it's not Russia.
Not Russia.
And if you thought it was in South America, that leaves a lot open for interpretation.
This also might just mean that I'm a little bit
wedding.
racist.
Is it India?
No.
No?
No.
I'm a little bit racist.
Yeah. I think this just
Okay.
means I'm just a tad bit racist.
Spain?
No. That's more Europe.
Well, it is, but...
Go.
Well, and you did just
go
look it up,
farther
and you
east.
said it was in...
Yeah, go farther
Further-
east.
Further east than what?
Further east than India.
Further east than India.
I'll give you a hint. It's off. It's not on the mainland.
It's
of
an
Asia.
island.
It's an
Yeah.
island.
Is it New Zealand?
No, too far. You've gone too
New-
far.
Okay.
You've gone way too far. Come back. Bring it back in.
I don't
Bring
know.
it back. You went south.
I went very south.
Told you to go east. You went down.
Very east. I forgot where New Zealand was. Oh, shit. Is it... It's not... There's no way it's Japan, and there's no way you thought that was
Definitely-
in South America.
No, it's definitely not Japan.
I have no idea.
It's the Philippines.
Oh! Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know why. I always just think the Philippines is in South America. I think it's because I don't consider Philippines... Like, in my head, Philippines isn't technically Asian in my head.
Except they very much are.
Except for they very, very much
They
are.
very much are, yeah.
They extremely, very much are. But, like, I don't know why. I just... for some reason, I just think Philippines is always in South America, and I just don't know why.
We're doing Valentine's Day country tradition trivia. Is that a good way to explain it? Emily wanted to know what we were doing.
Yeah, Valentine's Day trivia. Yeah.
So, traditions in other countries, and I have to guess where they're from.
Yeah.
He gives me a description of what the tradition is, and I have to guess where it is. I don't even know. Have we been keeping track of points?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. The points don't matter. This was just something fun for the game.
For the continent, and I feel like I've done okay.
You're at least 5. You're at least
Okay.
5. You can at least get 10 points. At the very least, you should be able to get 10 points easily.
Yeah. All right, next one. That was 6?
That was 7.
That was okay. Cool. So we're almost done.
All right.
8, 9, 10.
All right. So number 8. Originally, people celebrated Valentine's Day as the spring festival. The young and amorous gathered outside in gardens to enjoy poetry readings and music before taking a stroll with their beloved. Another Valentine's Day tradition was for young unmarried girls to wake up before dawn to spot their future husbands. The belief was that the first man a woman saw on Valentine's Day was the man she would marry within a year, or he'd at least strongly resemble the man she would marry. Today, people celebrate Valentine's Day with a gift exchange between lovers and romantic dinners. One of the most popular Valentine's Day gifts in this country is a dish which is small chocolate-covered hazelnuts wrapped with a romantic quote printed in 4 languages.
I'll be right back. Wait, I heard you again. There you are. Hello?
Hello?
There you are. Okay. What was that?
Okay, I'll just start from the beginning.
Okay.
All right. Originally, people celebrated Valentine's Day as the spring festival.
Yes.
The young and amorous gathered outside in gardens and such to enjoy poetry readings and music before taking a stroll with their beloved. Another tradition was for young unmarried girls to wake up before dawn to spot their future husbands. The belief was that the first man a woman saw on Valentine's Day was the man she would marry within a year, or he'd at least strongly resemble the man she would marry. Today, people celebrate Valentine's Day with gift exchanges between lovers and romantic dinners. One of the most popular Valentine's Day gifts is a gift which are small chocolate-covered hazelnuts wrapped with a romantic quote printed in 4 languages.
Okay.
I had to admit what the actual gift was called because it would give it away.
Hazelnut. Message on them. So it's just even shittier word hearts.
Sure, I guess.
They're called conversation hearts.
Conversation hearts.
Conversation arts.
That's what they are. Yeah, those things taste like shit. I can only imagine what the hazelnut ones are.
Dude, you ever had
Hazelnut.
candy cigarettes?
I have.
I legitimately so candy cigarettes. All they are is just sugar.
Yeah.
But I'm like
But they
addicted.
taste gross.
I love candy cigarettes actually.
Really?
I
Oh.
legitimately love them.
Well, they don't even advertise them as cigarettes anymore. Because
No.
they can.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
they can't. They
chop
can't.
thing?
I
Yeah.
actually
He loves them.
I
4.
loved them as a kid.
Dude, they're so
Maybe that's
good.
where my negativity came.
They're bad though. They're bad for you, but they're so good.
Yeah. But
Um,
it's
I actually, I remember I got a gift basket from from family friends, and it came with several boxes of candy cigarettes, and they were like old school packaging, so they actually
nice.
advertised as cigarettes, and it was really cool. But I was like, man, these are addicting.
these are a product of their time.
Yeah, like these are definitely a product of their time.
All right. I'm just gonna do one guess, and I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary and say this is Luxembourg.
No. Fun fact though, I have been to Luxembourg. Very nice place. This is Italy.
Tiny. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Never would have guessed that.
Yeah,
What
the
was
gift-
the thing called?
Basi Perugina.
That would not have given it away.
Really?
Yeah, not for me. I don't know very much Italian.
Basi Perugina. Fun fact, Italian and Spanish are actually very similar languages. And the only reason I
Yeah.
know this is because I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, and one of my best friends took 2 years of Italian, and we were able to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
We were
Well,
able to
it's one of those romance languages.
Yeah.
Even French is fairly similar.
Yeah. All right. Number 9. Oh. Okay, you should be able to get this one.
Okay.
With Carnival held sometime in February or March each year, people skip the February 14th celebration and instead celebrate Dia dos Namorados, or Lover's Day, on
Mexico?
June 12th. No. In addition
Okay.
to the usual exchanges of chocolates, flowers, and
Brazil?
cards. Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep reading it. In addition to the
Okay.
usual exchanges of chocolates, flowers, and cards, music festivals and performances are held throughout the country. Gift giving isn't limited to couples either. In this country, people celebrate this day of love by exchanging gifts and sharing dinner with friends and relatives too. The following day is St. Anthony's Day, which honors the patron saint of marriage. On this day, single women perform rituals called simpatias in hopes that St. Anthony will bring them a husband.
Yeah.
Yep.
That both of those sound like either that sounds like either Mexico or Brazil.
Yeah. All right. Number 10, last one.
Okay.
This will be interesting. I will be kind of shocked if you get this one.
Okay.
All right.
I
Like
gotta
many
get-
parts of the world, this country celebrates Valentine's Day with festivals, flowers, and other tokens of love. It's also customary for women in this country to wear their hearts on their sleeves on February 14th. Women pin the names of their love interests on their shirt sleeves, an ancient Roman tradition known as Lupercalia. In some cases, this is how men learn of their secret admirers.
I've heard of this. And I want to say Rome because you said it's ancient Roman. It's like, why wouldn't it just be
You
Rome?
would be wrong.
And Italy is already off the table.
Yes.
Greece isn't a possibility because Greece came before Rome.
Yes.
Process of elimination here.
Again, if you get this right, I'm going to be so fucking shocked.
Is it European?
No. I can say with the utmost confidence this is not
Is it
European.
Australian?
No.
No. Is it Asian?
No. You just named the continents.
Is it South American?
No.
Canada.
No.
I'm gonna list off.
You're just gonna you'll get the continent eventually. You only got 2 more.
It works, man. You have to just lose at
I-
some point.
There's no way it's Antarctica. There's no country in Antarctica. So it has to be North American.
No, it's not. You're missing one.
Said Australia. It's a continent. I asked Europe, Asia, South America, Australia, and North America.
You're missing one.
Is it Antarctica?
No, you're missing.
What am I missing?
I realize how many there
No, continent.
I'll give you a hint. Toto blesses the rains in this place.
Oh wow! I totally forgot about Africa.
Dude, no.
You know the largest one?
Completely and utterly omitted Africa.
What was the tradition?
Just doesn't exist.
Uh,
Oh my god.
women pinning their hearts to their sleeves.
Oh my fucking lord.
I have 2. Shit, there's a lot of countries in Africa.
It's not Egyptian.
It's not Egyptian.
Because, again, it has to come after Rome.
Oh man.
I doubt it's Ethiopia.
That's not meant to be mean. I just doubt it's Ethiopia. I'm just naming countries I know in Africa at this point.
Oh my god.
What's Ghana?
No.
Damn it. I don't know.
It is South Africa.
Fuck!
Literally. Literally. South Africa.
Say, think of bottom. Go low.
Where the white people are? I'm sorry. Like, it makes sense. I guess. Rome. Alright, where's the only place that kind of makes sense? South Africa. Alright.
Oh my god, my face
Every
hurts.
country in Africa
Huh?
lists every other answer for Africa.
Oh my god. So great. Well, I think you got at least 5. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I
you
definitely got at least 5. I got France and I got Brazil.
Yeah, you got France, you got
I
Brazil
named
for sure.
2 actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you got England too.
Was there one that was China?
Yeah.
No.
You
I
did
got-
not. You didn't get China though.
No. I was
Uh,
close.
You got England.
I was in one of the Asian countries.
That's not.
One of the many. That was fun.
This was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was great.
Significantly more fun.
Well, we gotta do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think on that note, that's like the perfect place for us to call it on the first test episode of the C Plus podcast. Yeah, this was good. Definitely, like I said beforehand, this is definitely kind of like a variety podcast where Hex and I are just kind of talking about stuff. A lot of times it's probably gonna be comics. But just things that we've come across throughout just our weeks or our lives and stuff like that. We'll definitely be trying to plan some more stuff out. But you know, if whoever you are, if you're listening to this and you like what you hear, please consider checking out both Hex and I's Twitch channels. You can find me at twitch.tv/shogun_shin or on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/theflameminion, or you can even find me on Twitter at Shogun_Shin, and then Hex, you can find him at twitch.tv/HexGinko, youtube.com/HexGinko, right?
I don't have the URL because it's a whole other thing.
Oh, okay. Yours
But
is also
yeah,
different, like mine
it's
is.
literally it's Twitter, it's Instagram, YouTube. It's all under the same name.
Yeah. So if you enjoy
HEXGINNKGO.
Yep. Yeah. So if you enjoy listening to us, please consider checking out our other stuff, and consider sharing this podcast with your friends and stuff like that. But until next time, I am Shogun Shin.
I'm Hex.
I
thought you were gonna say.
I was
gonna say, and you were the audience, and I was like, first of all, I hate the outro, and second of all, I blanked on my name.
Wait, you don't like my outro?
No, I hate your outro.
Wow. All right. Well, we're gonna talk about that next time because apparently that's something. Wow. I can't believe we haven't. Wow, I can't even brought that up to my attention.
I've never mentioned it.
Fucking rude. All right.
Next time, that's at the top of the list.
That's the top of the list next time. But either way,
terrible outro.
all right. That's it. We're fucking done with this.
Bye, everybody.